back. No, that was some
No, no,
subversion.
no. This one is basically he's a guy going alone to Jupiter, okay, in
Oh,
a shuttle, and he's completely alone for months. So now he basically has started tripping inside the space shuttle.
that sounds
it's
like
it's not meant to be funny. The whole film is very serious, but the fact that Adam Sandler is playing it has like just like the minute amount of humor in it. It's just this much more funny because of him, and it's
wait. So is it
yeah.
intended to be funny
No,
or
not at all. Not nothing. It if Adam Sandler wasn't playing that character, it would not be funny. It's still not funny. It's a very serious movie, but it's very watchable because of him. And I think you guys saw Uncut Gems, right? You guys,
yeah,
he does play serious with some, some air, right? So I
yeah.
feel like Spaceman could be something you guys might be interested in. There's a giant spider in it also, played
Is
by
it
Paul Dano.
Dano Dano?
Dano,
पॉल डेनो
sorry.
भाई, पॉल डेनो क्या हो गया?
डेनो, हाँ, भूल जाता है यार लोगों के नाम.
So wait, I have not heard anything about this spaceman. Is it
पता है
like
क्यों? तुम अगर नेटफ्लिक्स पे जाओ और एडम सैंडलर लिखो, एडम
हाँ
सैंडलर, स्पेसमैन आएगा नहीं.
है
Yeah, it won't show up. If you don't
हाँ
fucking write spaceman, it will not show up. That's the fucking problem with Netflix. It's
oh
तुम्हें बताएगा
it's
भी नहीं कि मूवी निकला है.
it's not got a great rating, but okay, I will still watch it.
By the
Seems
way,
good.
we are live and there are 7 people watching us. Hello and welcome to episode
Wow.
112 of the
Hi.
Discontent Podcast. I'm Aditya Khanna. With me are Bharat
Hello.
and Himanshu Arya.
Hi guys.
And we're here to talk about a lot of movies. There is Dune, there is Anatomy of Fall, there is Zone of Interest, there is Poor Things. तो काफ़ी सारी चीज़ें हैं. सबसे पहले तो आपको ये एक ब्लैंक स्पेस दिख रही होगी यहाँ पर. Here we, it's supposed to show the fucking live chat, but so for some reason it's not appearing over here. तो आई थिंक यहाँ पर हम इसको खाली रखते हैं इन मेमोरियम ऑफ विच एवर इज़ योर फेवरेट गेस्ट. आप उसको इमेजिन कर लो. यहाँ पर आप एक प्रिंट आउट लेके फ़ोटो चिपका दो अपने स्क्रीन पर और इमेजिन करो कि हम शाहरुख खान के साथ बात कर रहे हैं. You know, also potentially Avinash in the chat. Avinash is one of our members, paying members of the Discontent channel, and he is the only party member. There are 2 tiers of membership, broker and party, and the party member gets to come on live with us sometimes, and we can talk about movies. And Avinash will come on board towards the end. I think we can do a little segment with Avinash where he will tell us his thoughts on Poor Things and everything else. So Avinash, I will text you the link when we get to that stage. But we have a lot to cover today. So, बताओ
Didn't
वैसे
we
तो
have two party members?
we had 2. रोहन भी था. फिर रोहन ने सोचा कि ये इतना इन्वेस्टमेंट टाइप लग नहीं रहा, तो रोहन justifiably so he I think shifted. Oh, the chat has started showing, but it's showing only Avinash का text.
Wow.
Okay, चलो. Okay,
ये
दिख गया.
लैगी है ना थोड़ा, ये वाला अपना स्ट्रीम लैब्स
स्ट्रीमलैब्स थोड़ा सा लैगी है. देख अभी
थोड़ा सा लैगी है.
उल्टा हमने पैसे भी दिए भाई इसको. सोचो ये दुनिया के ये हाल हो चुका है. By the way, just starting off on a lighter note, did you guys follow the Ambani wedding?
Fuck यार, can you avoid it?
Everything I know is against my will.
Against our will.
Yeah,
भाई मेरा एक
about this.
दोस्त है, पता है वहाँ पर. मेरा एक दोस्त गया है वो शादी पर. आई थिंक ही इज़ अ फ्रेंड ऑफ मिस मर्चेंट. सो या उसने ऐसे लिखा था कॉन्ग्रेचुलेशंस रैड्स ऐसे सब.
ब्रो
तो मैं
मेरा
अज्यूम कर
उल्टा
रहा हूँ
है.
कि तेरा अनंत का
मैं
तेरा दोस्त है क्या कोई?
नहीं नहीं नहीं, जो भी दोस्त अभी किसी भी रैंडम वेडिंग की वीडियोस डाल रहे हैं, मैं बोल रहा हूँ भाई तू जामनगर कब गया तू दिखा दिखा फोटो दिखा शाहरुख
हाँ
खान के साथ.
भाई, किस किस को
भाई
नचा
शाहरुख
दिया
का
भाई.
तुम
हाँ,
सब ने देखा ना, शाहरुख ने क्या बोल दिया वहां पे.
उसने बोला
आई थिंक
अस्सलाम
एक्साइट हो गया.
वालेकुम और फिर उसने बोला फॉर गुड मेजर जय श्री राम.
भाई वो सब तू क्या बातें कर रहा है भाई. तू आर यू नॉट अपडेटेड विद व्हाट
आई
ही
एम
सेड.
नॉट
अरे
अपडेटेड ऑन द फकिंग अंबानी वेडिंग डूड. व्हाट द फक डू यू
अरे
थिंक माय
भाई
लाइफ इज?
उसने
हाँ.
उसने इडली सांबर बोल दिया उसको यार.
ओ ये तो मैंने
रामचरण.
आई डोंट नो
मैंने
इफ
पढ़ा
दैट
है.
इज, आई डोंट नो इफ दैट इज दैट रियल?
No, it's real. I saw the video where he says, and he appears to be drunk on stage.
हाँ
Again, allegedly. Again, I'm not alleging
हाँ
it. Okay.
हाँ.
And he
Good.
says a lot of things like, again, I don't want to repeat this, but he says a lot of seemingly nonsense Tamil words
ओके.
and says Ramcharan, come on stage.
Did he go like? Did he start singing Dil Se Ka Kunji Kontan Tunni
No, no,
Kyon
no,
Kontan
no.
Tunni Kyon? Did he start doing that?
Even worse, he just started rapping like random
हाँ
nonsense words, and then
हाँ
people got offended, of course. For
कोई बात नहीं भाई, क्या हो गया. शाहरुख खान को सब अलाउड है आज की तारीख में भाई. शाहरुख खान ने जो गेम खेले हैं ना, मतलब बिग फैन सर. सबसे बड़ा उनकी, उन्होंने मूवीज़ में उतनी परफॉर्मेंस नहीं की है जितनी वो असली लाइफ में करते हैं, और इतना सक्सेसफुली, यू नो. तो
ब्रो बट मैंने डोंकी स्टार्ट किया और मैंने करीबन 5, 10, 15, 20 मिनट देखे होंगे. एक it's not funny, bro.
it's not.
It's not working. Nothing is working, and Shahrukh is also not working in it somehow.
Yeah.
I couldn't understand what he's saying. उसके words एकदम illegible समझ लग रहे थे, and subtitles भी तो नहीं है, हिंदी में ही बात कर रहे हैं, तो कुछ समझ ही नहीं आ रहा ब्रो.
हिमांशु, आई एम गिविंग यू सम प्रिविलेज. तेरा जो कैमरा है बहुत ही सही लग रहा है. यू लुक लाइक यूर इन अ अर्ली डेज ऋत्विज म्यूजिक वीडियो, यू नो. सो आई लाइक द वाइब. तो मैंने तेरे को बड़ा कर दिया है तेरे तेरे
Is that possible?
या मैंने कर दिया. तू स्ट्रीम देखना यूट्यूब पर.
ब्रो मैं सबसे कम बात करता हूँ. तो मेरा थोपड़ा.
भाई बात की ज़रूरत नहीं पड़ती. आँखों से जो पॉडकास्टिंग होती है ना, वो आप उस पर फोकस करिए. क्या बात कर रहे हो.
पर तू जो बोलता है ना वो याद रह जाता है.
अच्छा.
तो बेसिकली
Let's start with Dune na then, guys.
Dune 2. Let's start with Dune 2. Do we want to ask the chat? Do you know we can also do cool stuff on this? Like we can put a poll. We can put a live poll. डालूं क्या आज ये सब मस्तियाँ करूँ क्या?
करो ना.
लेकिन
करते
भाई
हैं ना,
मुझे
चलना.
कुछ नहीं दिख रहा है सब. अपने इंटरफेस में कुछ नहीं
तू
दिख रहा
मजे कर भाई, तू चिल कर. क्या हो गया? तो
ये क्या है? People can comment on the thing or what?
या आई थिंक सो. वैसे देखा है तो पोल तो हम YouTube के लाइव चैट पर भी करवा ही सकते हैं. तो
नहीं दिख रहा है ब्रो. क्या लिखा है तूने? कुछ नहीं दिखना.
क्या मतलब?
Is there like the blank part has another survey? Is that what you're doing?
No, I am not doing anything. Fuck it. Don't use. don't chill out. So basically, I'll just put a poll on YouTube chat only. तो हम किस मूवी के पोल क्या डालना अभी छोड़ो. तुम लोग ही बताओ किस मूवी की पहले बात करें ताकि स्पॉइलर तुमको वो हिसाब से मिलेंगे.
I think क्योंकि सबसे कम लोगों ने देखा होगा जोन ऑफ इंटरेस्ट.
एंड पुअर
Yeah, we can
थिंग्स.
talk
एंड
about
पुअर थिंग्स
So-
आल्सो. कि पुअर
बट
थिंग्स
पुअर थिंग्स के लिए हमें
पुअर थिंग्स तो काफी
अविनाश-
लोग एक्साइट. हाँ, विल गेट अविनाश ऑन बोर्ड ना फॉर पुअर थिंग्स.
या
तो जोन ऑफ इंटरेस्ट के बारे में बता दो. जस्ट लाइक हु सीन इट. बोथ ऑफ यू गाइस हैव सीन इट.
both of us have seen it. Yeah.
बताना क्या. हाउ इज
By
इट?
the way, this one is saying, Omkar is saying, great to have John Cena on the podcast. Nice. Thanks, man. Always took a while, but we got there. So yeah, basically, let's start off with zone of interest. Bharat, I think you loved the movie, and let's do this. I think we should start doing this more regularly and make our podcast more structured. तो भरत, आज से मैं तेरे को ये रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी दे रहा हूँ कि तू कोई भी मूवी का तू एक निचोड़ मस्त लॉग लाइन दे दे. ठीक है? तो
Okay.
इसका तू एक दो लाइन में बता दे फॉर somebody who hasn't seen Zone of Interest.
So Zone of Interest is a Holocaust psychological drama, I would like to say, and it's basically the story of Rudolf Hios or Hies, who is the commandant at the main guy who runs the Auschwitz, concentration camp for the Nazis during the World War, during the Nazi rule, and it's basically about how it's about the mundane life of Rudolf Hiess and his family as they manage this concentration camp. And the entire film, almost the entire film, is set in their house, which is literally connected to the fence, the boundary wall to the Auschwitz camp. And I mean, I don't want to tell more, but this is the story. And it kind of plays with sound very masterfully, most masterfully, I would say. And अगर आपने जॉनथन ग्लेजर की कोई भी फिल्म पहले देखी है तो it has the same kind of unsettling quality, you know. So yeah, I think that's a good starting point. What did you think, Aditya?
Yeah, I really thought it was a very interesting, inventive film. For deeper context, like, matlab, the entire Holocaust in this movie plays in the background. and in the foreground is just a suburban life basically. And the conceit of the film is that, you know, when you are part of this oppressive structure, like a lot, this is one of the most commonly asked political, sociological, psychological questions, ki how did the average Nazi feel
Hmm.
about, how did an average government employee or somebody just in that, a German in that regime feel about this stuff. And actually ये sort of उस चीज़ को extrapolate करता है, and it's making a larger point about
Yeah.
today's world also, I would say, and about everything, because the entire film is based uh, only around this family and the guy who runs Auschwitz. And you know वो मतलब we see the life, we see वो लोग ने plant किए हुए हैं चीज़ें, you know, अपने garden में, और the way it's set up is so interesting कि वो जो घर है उनका जहाँ पर ये पूरी फैमिली रह रही है, where 95% of the film is in that house, तो 90% of the film is in that house, तो वो राइट एक वॉल है उधर, जो बाउंड्री वॉल है घर की, वो वॉल के जस्ट पार इज आउशविट्स. So when Bharat was saying about sound, so you can hear gunshots in the background, you can hear babies, men, women, children crying in the background, you know, yelling in pain. There is, you can see smoke rising from there. चीज़ें हो रही है पीछे, but it's all in sound or in the background. तो you have to really focus to watch this movie. And foreground में इनकी अपनी लाइफ चल रही है, तो पिकनिक कर रहे हैं ये लोग, यू नो, बारबेक्यूज़ कर रहे हैं, दोस्तों को बुला रहे हैं, पार्टीज़ हो रही है, जो भी हैं. तो वेरी इंटरेस्टिंग फिल्म. ऑल्दो आई थिंक मुझे एक लिमिटेशन लगी है मूवी में, दैट विच यू फाइंड इन अ लॉट ऑफ sort of art cinema, which this definitely is. It's a Polish film and it's very you know, indie in that sense. What I find is one thing lacking is that beyond the conceit, I thought there wasn't too much,
Really.
except for I think one thing which a lot of films don't do well, this film did so well, which is that they nailed the ending. It has one of the best endings I have seen. In fact, the ending mein jo, there is a, I don't know, I'm not spoiling it, but there is a cut in this film. There's a cut which is, in my opinion, might be one of the best cuts in recent cinematic history globally. Matlab, it is a shocking cut that you would just, when you experience it, you, I would recommend, even if मैं जो भी मेरे shortcomings हो movie के बारे में, watch this movie just for that ending scene. And before I come back to
Yeah.
you, Bharat, Daman Sharma has once again given us a super chat. He has given us some money, and he's said, "Nice going with consistency." Thanks a lot, man. Thank you, Daman.
Thanks.
Thanks, Daman.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Seriously, this is a it's a crazy deal. Na?
yeah, it
It's a
is
big
great.
deal.
Thank you so much.
We will be
And
more consistent. We have started doing this now.
yeah,
We'll get back with the Oscar episode also, right?
या वी
Yeah.
विल. तो बेसिकली अब हमने आज ये हम लोग ट्राई कर रहे हैं कवर करने का इतनी सारी मूवीज़, बिकॉज आई एम ऑल्सो ट्रैवलिंग आफ्टर टुडे, सॉरी टुमारो. तो मैं भी आई थिंक ऑस्कर के बाद ही आऊँगा, तो आई थिंक वील डू अ पोस्ट ऑस्कर्स स्ट्रीम, वी कैन डू वन ऑफ दोज, एंड वी हैव अ
Yeah.
फ्यू मोर वेरी इंटरेस्टिंग एपिसोड्स लाइंड अप, एटलीस्ट वी आर ट्राइंग.
Yeah.
तो वो भी होंगे, हम उसके बारे में बताएंगे. बट
Abhi-
भरत, तेरा
yeah.
और जोन ऑफ इंटरेस्ट के बारे में क्या है? वी
I'm
हाँ.
I want to address a comment. Abhyuday has said that, is there a Liam Neeson cameo? But there is that red girl kind of cameo in spirit, if you think about it. So if you remember from Schindler's List, there is this girl with the red coat who's the only, I think, color figure in the entire film, in the black and white film, in Schindler's List. ऐसा ही एक similar conceit इसमें है, which by the way is based on a real character. And interestingly, this character is like the filmmakers met this character. I'll give you a, this is like a semi spoiler into the film, but it is a historical figure, so I mean, how much can you spoil history? But there was this lady who was barely, I mean, she was a girl at that time, she was like a minor, like she was 12 or 13, and she would slip into these the camps at night in her cycle, and she would put apples for the prisoners to find while they were working. So she would smuggle apples and come back out. and she, I think her name was Alexandria.
Hmm.
So what they've done is Jonathan Glazer met her because she was alive just before filming started. She was some 100 years old, and he has used the actual cycle that she used and the dresses that she wore in the for the actor who plays her in the film. So that's
Fuck.
a bit of, yeah, historic
That's
trivia.
By the
crazy.
way, Daman Sharma has
Yeah.
given another super chat of 2.79
Wow.
Canadian dollars, and he said, "Great, thank you so much,
Wow.
Daman. Are you sure this wasn't accidental? मतलब तूने गलती से तो नहीं दे दिया भाई, बता दे, please."
Yeah.
But thanks a lot, man. Thanks a lot. This really keeps us going. सच में हम
Yeah.
लोग ये अभी ये
Yeah.
सब का देना है. We are also चल छोड़ बाकी से हम लोग once we have things in solid, then we can tell people. Fuck it.
It'll be
Yeah.
fun to have you in our group also, Damam, if you
Yeah,
want to, like,
I think Damam is in the group, right?
yeah.
I don't. I thought he was, but if you're, but bhai, if you're Damam, if you're not in the group, then please, tell us, text us, and we'll add you to the group.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mr. Ping
एक-
said, "Who is that fourth participant?" It's भाई तूने पढ़ा नहीं पहले comment. John Cena आया भाई हमारे साथ आज हमारे बीच में. He has come back.
अच्छा एक बात बताओ,
हाँ.
Rudolph Hurst. Why have I heard his name?
That's
Is he in
Rudolf
some other
Hess.
movies?
No, that's Rudolf Hess. He was a real. This is two different Rudolphs. There was This is Rudolf Hoss. That was Rudolf
Okay.
Hess. Rudolf Hess famously was a traitor. He defected, I
Oh.
think. Either he was the one who defected from the Nazis, or he got convicted in the trials, in the Nuremberg trials. जिसने अपने
But
आप को
this
hang कर दिया था, ऐसा कुछ तो था.
this one did, I think. This is the one, na?
This is that guy only, क्या?
हाँ, but यार HOSS है with an umlaut.
हाँ.
I don't know if it's pronounced yes or Hyos. I don't know.
हाँ.
But
होश
anyway.
होश वालों को खबर क्या, वो रूडोल्फ
जितनी
होश वालों.
जितनी जर्मन मैंने पढ़ी है, O
अच्छा.
with an umlaut is Hyos.
हाँ.
But
मैंने
anyway.
खाली पढ़ा था ईश हाइजा
वाह
आदित्य.
भरत.
ईश हाइजा आदित्य पढ़ा था मैंने, विच इज माय नेम इज आदित्य. तेरे को याद है मुझे
ईश
कॉलेज में
हाइजा.
होते थे वो एडिशनल क्लासेस. अगर आपको एडिशनल लैंग्वेज सीखने, एक आंटी आती थी
हाँ.
जर्मन सिखाने. वो 2 क्लास हुए थे. जो पहले क्लास में 30 बच्चे, दूसरे क्लास में 4 बच्चे. उसके बाद से तो उन्होंने आना ही बंद कर दिया. तो इंटरेस्टिंग. या सो लेट्स
You want to talk about the other one? Next movie?
Yeah, let's go to the next movie. I think this is a movie everyone should watch. Very, very inventive sound, as Bharat said. Also, just one last thing before we move on. And we have to move on. Today we have to be a little more disciplined.
Yeah.
Oh, wow, dude. Damam is going crazy. Damam has given us $7 Canadian dollar super chat. He said,
Oh.
I was, but not that active. Oh, yeah, he exited. So I exited. Bharat also texted me
Yeah.
asking for feedback and reasoning for leaving the group, which I found so genuine. So, ha, bhai,
Oh.
thank you so much, and you're
Thank you,
welcome
man.
anytime back. And
Anytime, yeah.
yeah,
You can just be a
Seriously,
silent
bro.
member.
yeah.
Seriously.
Also,
This-
we should do
yeah.
more stuff. This is what I'm saying. We should do. जैसे मेरे को एक चीज लगती है हमारे WhatsApp group में, that a lot of the regular members are very active, but the newer ones don't tend to speak much. So if you are a newer member in the group, or if you're joining our WhatsApp group, please, you can feel free to talk, and we should also do some stuff. Maybe we should do a quiz every now and then, or do some fun stuff where we can.
Yeah.
And WhatsApp now allows you to also make different groups, so we can also do that. So smaller groups can be created, and that can be fun. We can do that. Jibin PK has asked, Dune 2 discussion over. नहीं भाई, अब तो शुरू हुई है बात.
अभी start होगा.
भाई मुआदिब पर
Yeah.
आएंगे आराम से. तो आई थिंक पहले अभी ये हो गया, जोन ऑफ इंटरेस्ट हो गया. Sorry, I was just making a point, which is that Holocaust पर it is crazy how these people have explored. Like Europeans, Americans, they've explored एक ऐसा angle नहीं है. I would like to know, is there ever a year, on average, how many Holocaust related films come out of the West every year? You know, films or shows or books or things like that. I think it's
Is there a German perspective? I mean, there is.
there is a German perspective, buddy. I know the perspective.
Das Undergang.
वो
Das
पता है
Undergang.
मुझे.
Their
वो
Untergang.
पता है.
हाँ.
Der Untergang है.
Der
वो तो है.
Undergang.
But a little more like wide. I mean, that is very
Nine.
like
There was a movie last year, right? 19, which went for Oscars.
1917, but that's First World
Nine, nine,
War.
nine, nine. No, not
All
1917.
Quiet
all
on the
about.
Western Front. All
Uh,
about the
correct.
Western Front.
Yeah,
Mr. Pink,
Netflix movie.
Mr. Pink, Bawal is the German perspective. He said,
Bro,
so
we need to watch that movie again. You know, we need to
yeah,
get
Yeah.
back to it.
Again,
for
मतलब तूने
sure.
देखी है
तूने
क्या?
देखी है
नहीं,
already?
मैंने नहीं देखी. We need to
हम
together watch it and
या
then
या.
हाँ.
break it down because I feel like that movie deserves it. हमने नहीं देखी. We avoided it
Hmm.
and it was right in our alley. You know, it was
जिबिन
supposed to be.
जिबिन का
Yeah.
सवाल है, डू दे टीच हॉलोकॉस्ट इन जर्मनी? तो मैंने एक डॉक्यूमेंट्री देखी थी बहुत सालों पहले बाय माइकल, कौन है वो माइकल जो मोटा, सॉरी, जो
Moore. Michael
माइकल
Moore.
मूर, उसने जो बनाई थी डॉक्यूमेंट्री वेयर टू सॉरी मोट, वेयर टू इन्वेड नेक्स्ट, ओके,
हाँ हाँ
वेयर
हाँ
टू
हाँ.
इन्वेड नेक्स्ट उसने बनाई थी, और उसमें दे गो टू जर्मनी एंड दे शो लाइक हाउ दे आर टॉट अबाउट, मतलब उसमें ही showed a class where this teacher gets a bag like a suitcase and tells all these kids ki put one item that you value from your life that is closest to you, that if you were told to leave your house immediately and you could take one thing, what would you put in that bag? तो उनको लेके आते हैं just to tell them that what it was like at that time. At
भाई
least
वो तो
उसमें मैंने
भूलने
देखा
नहीं
था.
देते हैं.
हाँ
वो भूलने नहीं देते भाई हॉलोकॉस्ट को.
हाँ.
Which is good, I guess.
Correct. I saw Pianist recently. Speaking of Holocaust movies, yeah,
Oh,
absolutely.
dude.
Pianist is
Pianist
crazy.
is great.
तुम लोगों ने all about the Western Front
All
देखा है ना?
Quiet on the Western Front. हाँ,
Sorry,
और देखा है.
All Quiet
हाँ.
देखा है ना?
Yeah,
नहीं
yeah.
नहीं recent वाली नहीं देखी मैंने. पुरानी वाली देखी है.
हाँ,
तो
वो मैंने दोनों देखी है.
is it a remake, the recent one? No, na.
I don't think so. No, no.
Because I've seen the recent one on Netflix.
Yeah.
Is it
And
good?
it's about how young German boys who have no idea what the war is like are super excited to join the war, and they are, you know, so pumped, and then finally when they, you know, they enter the war, they realize कि यहाँ पे तो सब खत्म है, गलती कर दी यहाँ आके, और फिर मतलब जैसे तैसे बच के निकलते हैं. तो it's about how the kids were almost manipulated and the entire youth were like they were put into this zone na mindset that, you know, war jayenge, we'll go, we'll win, we'll, you know, do this and that. The moment their friends started getting shot, all of that went out of the window. So that's
What are
what.
some of your favorite World War related films? I have a clear favorite, which is why I'm asking.
बता, ताकि मैं तेरे
I
से
think I've spoken.
कॉपी कर दूंगा.
I think I've spoken about this on a previous chat. There is a film called The Ascent, which is a Russian film, and it is made by a then young Russian filmmaker who, interestingly, she died very young. By the way, she made only 2 films and she died. Her husband went on to make a film called, यार वो बच्चे वाली कौन सी फिल्म है जिसका एक फ्रेम बड़ा ही हॉन्टिंग सा है, जिसमें बच्चे की आंख ऐसी बड़ी सी है, and it's a war movie.
Come and see.
Come and See. So both Come and See, which was made by her widower, and this film called The Ascent, the filmmaker is called Larisa Shepitko, I think. The Ascent is one of the most haunting. It's basically about the Russian resistance against the Nazis,
Right.
and it's beautiful. It's about the madness of war. It's not even anti-war. It's like it doesn't show you how war is hell. It takes you right in the heart of the hell, you know. So please watch The Ascent. I think it's on Movie or something, or Criterion, one of those.
But Himanshu,
So,
do
yeah.
you have a favorite?
Yeah, Full Metal Jacket.
Full Metal Jacket is not World War II.
No, it's not. It's Vietnam. Sorry, I'm forgetting. यार फिर recent memory में तो यार 1917 is World War One, right?
1917 World War One. बड़ी
Sorry.
अपने जंग याद रखा करो. तो मेरे लिए भी कोई ऐसा, I love
ऐसा
comment see, तो I love Dunkirk, I love Inglorious Bastards, I love all of these movies, Saving Private Ryan also.
Yeah.
So I don't think I have a clear favorite, but yeah.
Strangelove is good.
I feel like you can't really love these movies, you know. There is no way to like it's a hard watch, all of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're supposed to be.
So जोजो रैबिट हरकीरत बोल रहा है. जोजो रैबिट तो नहीं है बिल्कुल भी मेरी.
But अच्छी फिल्म लगी मुझे वो. I like that film. It's interesting.
Okay, let's. I think we can move on. We have to move on because there's a lot to talk about today. So let's get to. We've all seen Anatomy of a Fall, Himanshu.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so Anatomy of a Fall. I would just like to start off. I don't forget the movie for 1 second. बट मैं जब भी लिखता हूँ, मैं जब राइटिंग कर रहा होता हूँ तो मेरा मैं म्यूज़िक चलाता हूँ, ठीक है, बैकग्राउंड में कुछ मतलब नॉर्मली यूट्यूब पर वो भाई ये काफ़ी इंटरेस्टिंग चैनल होते हैं. यू आर इन अ पैरिजियन कैफ़े इन द 1920s, ठीक है, और वो वाला मूड मतलब मेरे को ऐसे सब रैंडम मैं प्लेलिस्ट चला देता हूँ. जब से मैंने एनाटॉमी ऑफ फॉल देखी है, आई हैव जस्ट बीन लिसनिंग टू 50 सेंट का पिम्प इंस्ट्रूमेंटल जो
Instrumental.
मूवी में बजता है. इनफैक्ट किसी ने वो सेम मूवी का ही एक थंबनेल बनाया हुआ है और वो यूट्यूब पर है, एंड इट्स सो गुड. इट
But
आई
why are you liking it? Isn't it supposed to be? It was used in the movie almost hauntingly.
या
I
इट वाज.
felt.
बट मेरे को वो लूपीनेस जो है ना उसका मेरे को बहुत सही लगता है वो राइटिंग, बिकॉज व्हेन यू आर डूइंग सम वर्क एंड यू लिसन टू म्यूजिक यू नीड समथिंग दैट इज नॉट कैचिंग योर अटेंशन टू मच. इट्स जस्ट देयर
Yeah,
setting the
yeah,
mood.
But मेरे को तो यार, I felt like it was like almost they were beating it on top of your head, and I
Yeah,
wanted it to stop. That is the point, right?
but
They
that in the
kept
movie that is the point.
Yeah, I know,
but
I
it
know.
really gets into your head, na, after a
Yeah.
point. Like
So
even I, when the movie ended, I was only thinking about that song.
इतना तो नहीं, मतलब I was thinking of the movie. The song it didn't end with that song, right? It
No,
ended
No,
with
no.
it
something
didn't
चलो
end.
else.
भरत तू वापस से बता दे सबको anatomy of fall in a couple of lines. What is the movie for those who haven't watched?
Okay, without spoilers, Anatomy of a Fall is about this couple who's living in a cabin in the middle of like a village in France, and it's a very snow-capped kind of a place. वहाँ पे the husband from the top floor or the second floor of the cabin, he falls and dies. And now the only person in the house was the son, who's like a not a like he's pre-adolescent, whatever,
Son
and
wasn't
he
in the
can't.
house. Son had gone for a walk with
Son
his
had gone
dog.
for a walk
Yeah.
with the dog, and he can't speak, right? Am I
He
correct in
he can't ऐसे कुछ है.
he can't speak?
He
हाँ,
can't
he can't
speak. He
speak.
can't
Yeah.
speak. He can't
He
speak.
can't
He
speak.
can't speak.
And the only other person in the house was the wife, who's our protagonist. And now the thing is that it kind of points to that whether
Oh
it
no no
is
no.
murder.
He's blind. He's partially blind. It's not that he can't speak. He's
Yeah, yeah. He
partially
touches
blind.
the he
He
touches the
touches those
slips,
things
na.
na, to
Correct,
yeah.
correct, correct,
He's
correct.
half blind. Yeah.
So he's yeah. So there's that, and then the suspicion falls over her, which is कि भाई इसी ने murder किया क्योंकि उनके बीच में काफी सारी अनबन थी. Now the whole film is about that trial, about that murder investigation, and who actually did what and why and all that. So it's kind of like a courtroom drama, I would say. It's very very
Courtroom though, I think courtroom comes like halfway, right?
yeah.
About halfway. The second half is courtroom mostly, but then the first half is almost thriller, whodunit. Like investigation
Yeah.
is on,
Yeah.
but it's never about. I think it stops being about who did it after a while.
Correct. After a while, but I don't want to kind of spoil it.
सॉरी हर
Yeah.
किरत का एक कमेंट आया है. आदित्य गिविंग भरत अ जॉब टू समराइज एंड इंटरप्टिंग टू डू द जॉब. पीक आदित्य. थैंक्स भाई. थैंक यू सो मच. सॉरी फॉर इंटरप्टिंग.
Bro, Amir Khan is like, don't spoil the ending. I might finish it someday before I die. नहीं देख ले यार. It's
अरे वो
a
आमिर सर अभी वो वहाँ गए हैं ना, जामनगर गए हैं,
जामनगर.
तो उनको टाइम नहीं मिल रहा होगा देखने के लिए.
back-to-back weddings.
हाँ, एक के बाद एक यार. पहले एक तो यू नो आई फील सो साइड नोट अ लिटिल बिट. तो मेरे भी इंस्टाग्राम वो जो फॉर यू पेज होता है उस पर यू नो दोस पेपराजी रील्स कीप शोइंग अप एंड dude, his daughter, the one who's not in the fucking industry or whatever, like she's just nothing to do with anything, and भाई उसको paparazzi follow करता है, and it is so clear that she does not give a fuck. She's just a normal person, and you feel so bad. You're like कि भाई क्या है ये पागल लोग पीछे पड़ गए.
Amir's daughter, na?
Amir's daughter, the one who got married right now.
Aira.
Yeah.
Aira Khan.
Yeah.
The thing is, I think if you're not media trained, and if paparazzis just start hounding you, there is no way, like,
You'd go
people will
crazy.
find faults. People
Yeah.
will, like, people judge you very heavily, right? And
Yeah.
media training मतलब ये लोग जो सुहाना खान और दे प्रॉब्ली ट्रेन्ड सिंस
भाई
लाइक
उनकी
सिंस दे वर किड्स.
प्रॉपर मीडिया ट्रेनिंग होती है यार, ऑफ कोर्स।
भाई हम लोग तो कैमरा के सामने आके मतलब हम लोग का पीआर मतलब हम लोग एकदम विल गेट कैंसल्ड
हाँ
बिकॉज विल बी परसीव्ड एज
भाई, हम
एसोल्स
लोग कभी मतलब ऐसे दारू पी के कहीं से निकले हैं और हम लोग अगर फेमस हो गए गलती से और पेपराजी आ गया उधर, भाई फुल संजय दत्त वाई भी हो जाएगी फिर सडनली पूरी है ऐसे कि
सीरियसली
ऐसे
भाई
हैं लोग। हाँ
संजय दत्त
हाँ
वाइब.
हाँ।
नहीं संजय दत्त तो पूछता है भाई खाना आना खाया तुम्हारे बॉस ने कुछ दिया तुमको
भाई वो
So,
पैप शुड बी मीडिया ट्रेंड फर्स्ट, बदतमीज है साले नॉब पॉडकास्ट, आई एग्री। और नॉब पॉड अगेन कोटिंग नॉब पॉडकास्ट पर ही एक बात हो रही थी, वंस अगेन मैं नॉब पॉडकास्ट को प्लग कर रहा हूँ और उनका ही जोक लेके इस पॉडकास्ट पर रिपीट कर रहा हूँ, विच इज़ देवर टॉकिंग अबाउट अ लहरे रेट्रो का वीडियो है जो मैंने बाद में आके देखा वो वीडियो, कि अनुपम खेर ने एक बार एक रिपोर्टर को इन द 90s थप्पड़ मार दिया था,
हाँ
ठीक है।
हाँ
तो बाद में लहरें और वट एवर वेंट टू कवर द रिएक्शन ऑफ द फिल्म इंडस्ट्री, तो अनुपम खेर इज लाइक या आई डिड द राइट थिंग, ये लोग हमारा ये सब करते हैं। सलमान ने भी बोला कि ये गलत है, ये लोग हमें पब्लिक में मैगजीन में थप्पड़ मारते हैं, हम लोग ने ऐसे कर दिया तो क्या हो गया, ओके। तो उसके बाद संजय दत्त का शॉट आता है, संजय दत्त बोलता है कि मैं अगर उनकी जगह होता तो मैं रिपोर्टर्स को तोड़ देता, लाइक विच इज क्रेजी। उसका भी संजय दत्त का मैंने एक वीडियो देखा था वेयर आई थिंक इट वाज समबडीज वेडिंग एंड वो मतलब फुल ड्रंक, मतलब completely, and he came outside, he was talking to the paparazzi and he was being nice, he was like कि खाना मिला and they're like हाँ भाई, and then he's like दारू मिला and he laughs and then they're like हाँ भाई हाँ भाई, and then after that I think Suzanne or somebody came, like Ritik's ex-wife, and he was like taking a picture with her and then he waited, he looked at the paparazzi and he was like ए बहन है मेरी, and
और
crazy।
वो वाला मसाला वाला पता है ना
हाँ,
तुझे
कौन सा
क्या?
मसाला लाए मसाला है क्या
मसाला लाए क्या है?
व्हाट इज
अरे
मसाला?
यार
हाँ
अरे यार उसको पान मसाला चाहिए था तो वो पैप से मांग रहा था
हाँ
मसाला है क्या नहीं भाई नहीं है अरे जाना यार and then there was a meme कि Britishers when they arrived in India मसाला है that was the
अच्छा, नॉब पॉडकास्ट कह रहा है पहले फिल्म रेको दो, और बाय द वे हिमांशु तूने लास्ट टाइम आई थिंक टॉक टू मी दी थी, तो मैं रिसेंटली इनका नया एपिसोड देखा वेयर शाश्वत हैज वॉच दैट मूवी और ये शाउटेड अस आउट आल्सो फॉर दैट। तो कोई अगर तुम लोगों को फिल्म रिकमेंडेशन है शाश्वत के लिए तो वो भी दे दो।
अभी अभी
जैसे भी आराम से दे दो, बट जैसे पर हाँ
यार मैं गॉडजिला -1 का वेट कर रहा हूँ, अभी तक निकली नहीं है, बट द रिव्यूज आर क्रेजी. ऑस्कर,
हाँ even I want to watch it
it looks crazy, the whole thing, and I don't know why अभी तक we can't find it anywhere. So
पता है
I'm
बम्बई में रिलीज हो चुकी है और एक आध शो ऐसा दिख जाता है कभी कभी मुझे But
bro,
ऐसे
even Killers of the Flower Moon and these ones na, Anatomy of Fall, I don't know why PVR na ऐसे ही they're all like sprinkling all these shows na
they're
in the
they're doing
middle
it
of
for the they're doing
Oscar
it for
run
the
na.
हाँ Oscar thing yeah
Bro, middle of the day 4 बजे weekday,
हाँ
who the fuck will go? कौन देखेगा Killers of the Flower Moon 3 बजे दिन का? मैं जाना चाहता हूँ, मैं देख ही नहीं पा रहा यार. पास्ट लाइव्स वो लोग सुबह पता नहीं कितने बजे लगा चुके हैं, 7 बजे 8 बजे. कौन देखेगा ये सब मूवीज? पागल है क्या? लाइक टाइमिंग थोड़ा ठीक करो तो एवरीबॉडी विल गो यार. ऑस्कर रन, पीपल आर एक्साइटेड ओनली.
आई थिंक दिस इज बिन द मोस्ट, पर्सनली स्पीकिंग, इस बार मैंने ऑलमोस्ट सब कुछ अभी देख लिया है एंड दिस इज बिन द मोस्ट एक्साइटिंग ऑस्कर रन इन द रीसेंट पास्ट, क्योंकि भाई मतलब द स्टैंडर्ड दिस ईयर इज क्रेजी एंड आई थिंक वी वर लुकिंग फॉरवर्ड टू दिस एनीवे, क्योंकि सबको पता था नोलन की नई आ रही है, स्कॉर्सेज़ी, यॉर्गोस की नई मूवी आ रही है सब, प्लस अनाटमी ऑफ फॉल पे वापस आते हुए सैंड्रा हुलर इज इन बोथ अनाटमी ऑफ फॉल एंड जोन ऑफ इंटरेस्ट एंड शी इज़ अ फेनोमिनल एक्ट्रेस, मतलब भाई क्या परफॉर्मेंस है दोनों मूवीज में एंड इट इज
I think Anatomy के लिए I'm rooting for her frankly because out of and I think we discussed this last episode or last to last
लास्ट sorry, हाँ.
but I think her performance was so bloody good I really want her to win
अच्छा, तो
Yeah.
कमिंग बैक टू एनाटमी ऑफ फॉल, तो इट इज़ अ कोर्ट रूम ड्रामा एंड वन ऑफ द मोस्ट इंटरेस्टिंग पार्ट्स ऑफ it is about more than being a courtroom drama and who did the murder or is it a murder even, is it an accident, whatever it is. तो उससे ज़्यादा it is more about the unraveling of a couple, of a of a
Yeah.
of a married couple, and the compromises they make, and how that sort of how a couple pulls apart from each other. And it's interesting because जो बंदा है वो तो शुरू में ही मर जाता है, मतलब पहले 5-10 मिनट में. तो it is only happening sort of piece by piecemeal हिसाब से वो हो रहा है कि whether what is their relationship with the child, how all of these work. So again, it is nothing that we haven't seen before in terms of domestic noirs or domestic uh, situations or movies, but it is just I think it's very well executed, shot very
Yeah.
well, sound very well. It stays with it's a proper character study, old school, staying with the character. You don't need to do. There's not a lot of big exciting moments in the film like that.
There's
It's a lot
a
more.
there's a dog there's a dog
Yeah.
in the movie, and in I was thinking that in the middle somewhere the dog plays an important part,
Yeah.
and for just 1 second I was reminded of हम साथ साथ है, वो जो टफी होता है ना उसमें, and that dog
हाँ.
starts, it's like a ex machina deus ex
Yeah.
machina.
Yeah.
Deus Ex
There's
Machina.
a bit of a that with the dog. I was like, अरे ये तो हम साथ साथ है हो गया है. Not
Yeah.
really, not really. I'm just kidding. But
both
the uh,
both these films, Zone of Interest and Anatomy, have Sandra Hüller and a dog that she owns, and both in fact, in Zone of Interest, fun fact, the dog in the film is actually Sandra Hüller's own dog.
Oh shit.
So yeah,
Oh भाई.
उसको भी नाजी बना दिया बेचारे को, but okay.
एक
Oh
लेटर
my
बॉक्स
god.
का वो बना दे, लिस्ट बना दे.
हाँ, letterbox का we should start being more active, but we have another super chat today from Saket Reddy, जिसने 450 रुपए दिए हमें. ठीक है.
Today
Fuck.
it's this
और
is a crazy
yeah,
chat today, यार. This
आज
is
तो जनता एकदम. Thank you so much Saket. Thank you so much for this.
seriously, bro.
Really appreciate
Thanks a
it.
lot.
Thank you.
Yeah, and also like the stream, subscribe to the channel, and there is a membership that you can be a part of our WhatsApp group if you would like to, where we discuss movies. And there is a higher tier of this membership, which is one is broker, जिससे आपको WhatsApp ग्रुप में एंट्री मिलेगी. पार्टी जिससे आप हमारे YouTube लाइव स्ट्रीम पर भी आ सकते हैं, जैसे आज अविनाश विल जॉइन अस towards the end of today's podcast. So let's anything else on Anatomy of Fall? How would you guys rate this movie? Fuck rating, but like तुम लोग को
I would draw a parallel. A lot of people talk about Marriage Story,
yeah
and it is similar to Marriage Story in that sense. But मुझे लगता है a separation जैसा भी है, because in both these films there are certain things that are done within the relationship which are then brought to question in the courtroom. And in the courtroom it's a matter of perception rather than what actually happened.
correct.
So I like, and also there's a child involved in both of those films, and the child's testimony becomes the most important part of both films, or how they kind of end. तो मुझे काफी कुछ ये a separation जैसा भी लगा. And there is this one big blowout scene which everybody is talking about, between the
Couple.
wife and the husband, yeah, which also is very similar to Marriage Story का एक
वो तो
similar
full
scene.
मेरे को वैसा ही लगा, but I don't know man, I really related hard to it. You know, it's one of those things I feel if you've been in a
All okay?
Okay, sorry, but मतलब मेरा कत्ल होने वाला है basically, but नहीं ऐसा नहीं, not so directly also. तो अभी बहुत ज़्यादा रिवील कर दूंगा मेरे को genuinely अभी मेरी लड़ाई हो जाएगी. But anyway, if you've been in a long term relationship, you know, like I know Bharat has been dating, मतलब dating के अब तो शादी हो गई, but like since 10 plus years even I have been. So it's just that, you know, when you're with somebody for that long, when you start you go through several phases in your life. You know, तो तुम college से शुरू of career, then you reach some point in your career, everything is everyone's priorities changes. So I think the
Yeah.
way they explored that is very relatable, you know, for a lot of people. जिनकी girlfriend नहीं है या
I
boyfriend
don't
नहीं
think that's the right word, bro.
है, they're not relatable. It's not relatable, fuck. But anyway, let's move on quickly from Anatomy of a Fall. वरना मेरा हो जाएगा Anatomy of a Divorce. तो guys, please like the stream, Jibin. Thank you, yaar. Okay, should we anything else on
Acha,
Anatomy
yeah,
of a Fall?
Yeah,
It was good.
masterful cinematography and editing. I think editing will get overlooked a lot in this movie, but it's a very well edited movie.
Yeah.
Like, well, matlab, the intentions behind the edits are very good, like very thought out.
Hmm.
Like they show you some information, then they don't show you, like they reveal only some things via audio, some things via video, and like the flow of the whole film, na, they drop some hints initially which really come back later, like foreshadowing bol sakte ho, but the way they foreshadow is also very good. Like foreshadowing nahi, just it's storytelling only. You tell people
Hmm.
something ki acha they had some misunderstanding, and then later on they come back to it, they come, so it's, I think it's the structure is very good, and the structure comes out very crazily in the edit. I think
Yeah. Yeah.
post production mein they did a crazy good job with this movie, especially like interval se pehle tak, when they are like, when the investigation starts getting just dirty, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
They just establish like points, and then they start like breaking those points, like you can't trust anybody, nobody
correct.
is the good,
Hmm.
no one in this whole story is telling the truth entirely or whatever. Even people, even their whatever eye testimonials can be completely wrong, and that's
Yeah.
not even the point. It's not even the point of the movie, but still it the way they did it with the edit and with shooting, इट्स क्रेजी आई थिंक. बहुत भूल जाएंगे लोग कि ये हुआ है, मतलब people not,
Hmm.
they'll get lost in the story. I got lost in the story. Later on you realize by after you watched the movie that they played some tricks on you,
Correct.
like very cool
Yeah.
tricks.
Also, interestingly, like another thing, the film very directly approaches जो हिमांशु भी कह रहा था, that if you put anybody under the microscope, in a normal relationship also,
हाँ.
it's just that तुम विलेन ही निकलोगे उसमें, कोई
हाँ.
किसी के पास कोई चॉइस नहीं है उसमें, सब विलेन ही
भाई
निकलेंगे
सही बता
उसमें
रहा
से.
हूँ, अगर
हाँ,
आज को मेरे और मेरी वाइफ के बीच डिवोर्स केस हो जाए
हाँ.
और अगर उसको प्रूव करना हुआ कि मैं हरामी हूँ, वो कर देगी भाई.
आज क्या निकल रहा है भाई, सबके सबके इश्यूज आ रहे हैं क्या बाहर आज?
मेरी अगर कोई वॉइस रिकॉर्डिंग हो ऐसी तो
हाँ,
आई एम श्योर आई
डिस्कंटेंट
विल बी.
थेरेपी यार. हाँ,
पर मुझे लगता है डिसकंटेंट के स्टार्टिंग के एपिसोड्स भी यूज कर सकते हैं लोग.
हाँ
तुम
भाई,
लोग को,
इजीली.
तुम लोग
हाँ,
दोनों को कन्विक्ट करने के लिए कुछ भी हो
हाँ,
सकता है.
सही बात है.
बढ़िया.
बोलो लोगों को,
तो
पीपल.
भाई ये कौन क्या कह रहे हैं, मिस्टर पिंक कह रहा है, नोक झोंक कर रहा है मिस्टर पिंक आज. एनाटॉमी साउंड्स लाइक अ गुड लिटमस टेस्ट फॉर पीपल इन टॉक्सिक, और फिर रुक गया वो. और
Nice.
किसी ने कुछ, तो आमिर खान ने बोल रहा है कि समवन क्लिप दैट स्लिप अप एंड सेंड इट टू हिज वाइफ. आमिर खान, पहले गेट वन वाइफ फर्स्ट. तो छोड़ता रहता है पूरा टाइम, मेरे को मत सिखा तू ये सब, ठीक है.
भाई
सॉरी सॉरी,
हरकीरत ने
माय
भी
बैड,
लिखा है.
आई एम किडिंग.
हरकीरत ने लिखा है भरत ने थोड़े ज्यादा ही मेंस राइट लॉयर्स के रील्स देख लिए, व्हिच इज बाय द वे ट्रू.
इट्स ट्रू. भरत मुझे आज कह रहा था, भरत
हाँ.
तू मुझे आज ही कह रहा था इसके बारे में, क्योंकि तू
एक
फॉर
हाँ
कॉन्टेक्स्ट
एक
तो
बंद
बता दे
हम्म,
हाँ.
एक एक बंदा जिसको मैं फॉलो करता हूँ फॉर अ लीगल शो दैट आई वाज राइटिंग. He's called Better Call Amish, by the way. He's a good he's a good content creator. But of late he's been talking a lot about these fake sexual harassment
ओ माय
cases.
गॉड. ओके.
Yeah, and he's kind of, and he says that it's heartbreaking and all of that because, I mean, just for context, the laws in Indian penal code, which are now, by the way, called Bharatiya Nyaya something,
हाँ हाँ,
Nyayika,
अभी नए
whatever.
पीनल कोड आ चुका है.
हाँ, नया penal code आ गया, उसका नाम
मे
हिंदी
बी
में
दे
है
जस्ट वांट
सिर्फ.
टू रिमूव द वर्ड penal from it, don't you think that
I
might be a
don't
big
blame them.
reason, for which I don't blame them for that,
Yeah.
भारतीय न्याय संहिता. ओ फक
Yeah.
भाई, नॉब पॉडकास्ट ने दिए हैं 1,008 रुपए, और उसने कहा है सबसे
शगुन.
ओके, ये वाला करना पड़ेगा, सबसे खराब इंडियन वेब सीरीज बता दो. चलो आज तो करियर की अर्थी जला ही देते हैं. चलो बताओ. हिमांशु, तू सबसे डिस्कनेक्टेड है, तू
हाँ.
पहले बता. हाँ,
तू बता.
हाँ.
यार सबसे खराब वेब सीरीज मैंने
जो
देखी
बड़ी
नहीं
वाली
है
है,
यार.
वैसे तो
कोई
बहुत सारी है, बट बड़ी वाली.
कोई ऑप्शंस दो ना यार, मुझे याद दिलाओ
हाँ,
किसका बात करें. लाइक व्हाट इज इट दैट यू गेस. मुझे अच्छी, मैंने तो बस गिन
हाँ.
चुन के, आई स्वेयर मैंने परमानेंट रूममेट्स ही ढंग से देखा है जब वो
वाओ.
निकली.
भाई साहब.
उसके उसके बाद ना पिक्चर्स जैसे तैसे देखी.
हाँ.
उसके बाद मुझे कुछ याद नहीं है मैंने कितनी देखी, क्या देखी. आई थिंक सेकंड सीजन ऑफ दिस वन वाज क्वाइट
सेक्रेड गेम्स.
बैड. सेक्रेड गेम्स वाज terrible as
Terrible
fuck.
drop off. हाँ.
Hurt my feelings.
Yeah.
After which I could never get
God.
back to like just appreciating web series.
Hmm.
I think उसके बाद ना मन उठ चुका है, उसके बाद कुछ नहीं देखा मैंने.
भाई सीजन 2 मैं बताऊं, इसका आंसर मेरे लिए भी आई थिंक सीजन 2 है मोस्ट शोज का. मेरे को सेक्रेट गेम का सीजन 2 बहुत खराब लगा और मुझे मेड इन हेवन का सीजन 2 भी बहुत खराब लगा. मतलब इट जस्ट वेंट इनटू सम
Oh,
अदर ट्रेजेक्टरी ओनली. मतलब
shit, I've not watched Maiden Heaven का
मेड इन
season
हेवन का
2.
सीजन 2 इज बेसिकली दे टुक अ बंच ऑफ लाइक ट्विटर थ्रेड्स, ठीक है, कि ये वाला जैसे देर आर लॉट्स ऑफ कंटेंट क्रिएटर्स ऑन ट्विटर हु टॉक अबाउट लाइक अ लॉट ऑफ इश्यूज वेरी डीप जाके ना, वो या तो देर एकेडमिक्स और जर्नलिस्ट या जो भी है, तो वो लोग ये मतलब every single topic that to touch, caste, LGBTQ, men's rights, women's rights, ठीक है भाई. उसमें एक एपिसोड में बियर बाइसेप्स टाइप एक बंदा दिखाया है. दे हैवंट कॉल्ड हिम दैट बट द गाय लुक्स लाइक, द
Of course.
एक्टर लुक्स लाइक हिम, and he is a motivational speaker plus he's behaving also like him, and he's a domestic abuser in that. Okay, so it just felt very loosely strung
Wait,
together. तो
it's Vivek Bindra, bro. It's not
विवेक
Beer
बिंद्रा हो
Biceps,
सकता है,
है.
but वो he did not look like an old middle aged whatever that guy. He looked like he was dressed like this guy.
No, why I say Vivek Bindra is, you know, right?
हाँ, उसका तो सीन हो गया, वो तो प्रॉपर स्कैमर है ना.
Yeah.
हाँ
Oh shit, मेरा कुर्ता फटा हुआ. Sorry.
भाई देखो क्या हाल है राइटर्स के.
पैसे ही अभी
थैंक
मिल,
यू फॉर
आज
द
इतने
सुपर
स्ट्रीम
चैट
में
गाइस.
पैसे मिले ना, सच में चाहिए था तेरे को भरत.
थैंक यू फॉर
तू ले ले भाई एक नया
हाँ.
कुर्ता.
पर भरत तेरी कोई है सबसे खराब इंडियन वेब सीरीज?
अरे एक
तू
शो
तो
है.
थोड़ा सोच कर ही बोल भाई. हाँ.
एक शो है called Baby Come Na, which is directed by Farhad Samji, and
Oh,
it
legend.
stars Shreyas Talpade. It's a sex comedy and it's a ride. Just please watch
चल
it.
ठीक, कहाँ पर देख सकते हैं? मैं भी देखूंगा ये आज रात को.
मुझे नहीं मालूम, मैंने तो कहीं अजीब ही जगह देखी थी, but
हाँ. Baby come
Anyway.
now. Okay, great.
Baby Come Na.
No.
Okay.
Mm,
Oh,
Bro, मैंने
they've released it on YouTube, all of it, as
Oh.
a single video of a
बताओ.
1 hour 41 minute. They've said it's a Hindi film.
Hmm.
It's not a film, it's a series which they've kind of released as a film.
हाँ.
Just watch it. For free.
भाई एक आई थी अबे देओल की एक वेब सीरीज आई थी शुरू में सोनी लिव पर, which was like time travel. There was पंकज कपूर also. मैं उसका नाम भूल रहा हूँ. It was
फ्लाइट 09
हाँ,
समथिंग.
JL,
ऐसा ही
अबे
कुछ.
JL 71.
JL 50, JL 71 जो भी. तो उसमें वो लोग ने बेसिकली दे शोड दिस थिंग, बट व्हेन यू वॉच दिस सीरीज ना, इट्स ओकेश. भाई तुमको पता चलता है कि ये मूवी थी. इन लोग ने इसको काट करना तो इजीली तुमको पता चल जाएगा इन्होंने काट कर इसको सीरीज बनाई कि इनको मूवी नहीं रिलीज करनी थी तभी. तो दैट इज ऑल्सो वेरी ऑफ. इट जस्ट सीम्स random. Also,
JL 50.
Abhyuday Mehrotra has become a member on the channel. So thank you so much,
Thank
man.
you.
He's become
थैंक
a
यू
broker.
ब्रो.
Thank you, and I will add you. I think once you join YouTube पर तुझे वो लिंक मिल जाएगा WhatsApp ग्रुप का, वहीं पर members वाले सेक्शन पर. तो join it. कोई इशू होता है तो टेक्स्ट कर देना.
I want to answer one that question now podcast का.
हाँ.
I remember one show. Basically तुम लोग को I Hate Love Stories याद है?
हाँ. इमरान खान
उसमें
and,
जो
this
हाँ, उसमें जो डायरेक्टर होता है ना, I'm forgetting his name. Do you remember him?
समीर सोनी.
Bro,
हाँ.
no.
Yeah.
Oh, Samir Soni. Okay.
Samir Soni, yeah. So he is in a web series, episodic whatever, and it's
Family
like a
Slices of
document.
Bollywood vibes.
No. He is in this one where he's traveling all over India, ठीक है, to all the famous pilgrim places and talking about the best parts about these places. Okay, you just need to see it to understand what he feels about it. It's very clear that he didn't want to be anywhere. Okay, he didn't want to be there. It's very clear. But the fact is कि उसको पैसे मिला and he's listening to these people, taking interviews of a lot of like religious people and all, and they're all giving really good gyan, really nice ones. I don't know how to I don't want to say anything, but एक बार तुम लोग देखो शक्ल उसका, ठीक है? People are watching it. I'm in my family na, they were watching it with like people liked watching it, like they liked him. But you could tell there is like a whole, like you could tell, just look at his eyes, look at his face, look at his expressions when he's talking, when people are giving him gyan. Okay, just see what is happening. It's fucking crazy. Yeah, it's this
Hmm.
one only, na? Is it called Sarvam Shakti
Sarvam
Maya? I think it's
Shakti, Sarvam Shakti Mayam. Dishna has said she's also a member. Uh, yeah, I think she said this twice. So I think वही वाला होगा.
I have a feeling it's that only because मैंने जब देखा
हाँ
ना, it'll shake you up. This one,
हाँ.
it's
Lol.
crazy.
ये वाला सबसे हाँ मिस्टर पिंक ने कहा है कॉल माई एजेंट बॉलीवुड भाई मैं देखा मैं पागल हो गया मैं बोला बस मैंने भी सोचा मैं बॉलीवुड इंडस्ट्री छोड़ दूंगा अब ठीक है मतलब ये हो गया था मेरा आई डोंट वांट टू कॉल एनी एजेंट प्लीज डोंट कॉल मी एट ऑल वैसा लेट्स
Come
मामला
back, na?
मामला लीगल है कैसा लगा ओके लेट्स जस्ट डू मैंने उसका ट्रेलर देखा एंड आई थॉट इट वाज
It
इंटरेस्टिंग
was
या
it was fun. Fun fact: it is set in Patparganj, which is the exact locality where I grew up in
ओह
Delhi.
ओह
Yeah,
ओके नाइस
it's like Shastri Nagar. Just oh, did I dox you, Aditya?
Now you did. Thank you so much.
Oh,
But there are 18 Shastri Nagars in Bombay, so it's okay.
okay.
Just like MG roads, so it's not like भाई तू अब आ जाएंगे भाई घर के बाहर ये चल anyway.
You never know, man.
Yeah, so अब लेन नंबर और बिल्डिंग नंबर मत बताना बस बस वही रह गया.
ठीक है.
हाँ तो okay, let's just go to the next movie. We have to
Do you think we should talk about? हाँ ना, let's get Avinash na then. I think it's
when
already
we get to
11.
poor things I
भाई
think
अभी हमने
पहले
ड्यून का कुछ
पहले
नहीं बोला है.
डून करते हैं भाई डून तो करते हैं अभी हमने कवर किया है अनाटमी ऑफ फॉल और जोन ऑफ इंटरेस्ट ठीक है तो लेट्स
Yeah.
गेट टू डून 2 आई थिंक विच इज़ द बिग टिकट आइटम फॉर टुडे और मैन मतलब what a fucking
Fuck.
movie this is
Seriously.
legend stuff I think I missed those days of big Hollywood fantasy जब ये हैरी पॉटर मेरे को लेजिट हैरी पॉटर वाला हाइप लग रहा है अभी इसके लिए जैसे तभी मूवीज आती थी यू यूज्ड टू व्हेन यू आर ग्रोइंग अप यू यूज्ड टू वेट फॉर एवरी मूवी टू कम आउट आई फील लाइक दैट विद डून राइट नाउ द वे ही हैज पुल्ड ऑफ दैट होल स्टोरी जस्ट ग्रेट स्टफ हाँ
There's no need for you to read the book. मुझे ऐसा लगा कि
Yeah.
the adaptation, just मतलब paper to script, and script to movie, the adaptation works. There's no nothing lost.
करेक्ट
You won't miss out on. जैसे हैरी पॉटर also adaptation doesn't work. हैरी पॉटर का बुक पढ़ोगे तो तुम्हें समझ में आएगा कि 1000 चीजें कट गई. बहुत दुख होता है. But I think of course
इसमें
there are many backstories.
दो तीन चीजें कटी है इसमें खाली टू बी ऑनेस्ट
दो तीन चीज a lot of backstories and then whatever the future stories are probably not in this but self-contained they have done I think a fabulous job it just works without even if there was no I don't know like Timothy Chalamet and this big like the Zendaya and the big names I think just on text it worked very well and then text to shooting तो मतलब कमाल ही कर दिया उन लोगों ने they did a fabulous job with I think that the second half with the war na it has some of the most craziest visuals and very real looking like the VFX is so good
या
I can't believe like when you're watching it and it's not even like he's showing off it's not show off it's part of the story it's part of the book is like that right so it's not like he's VFX में कुछ और ही हो रहा है it's like हाँ ये सब था book में भी था and it's coming on the screen and he has done a very good job with the adaptation it's all sincere it's a very sincere effort so it fucking works well
For
on
for
the-
context, I think Himanshu's read all the Dune books.
यू रेड ऑल
not all there are not all
26 है वैसे तो
हाँ that a lot I've read 4
Okay.
which is a
I
lot
am
yeah
Wait, the 4 originals, right? उसके
the,
आगे लिखी
the
नहीं ना
first
Herbert ने.
the trilogy and then the fourth one but the fourth one I haven't finished it I had to leave it in the middle I'll start from
पर
the start
फ्रैंक हर्बर्ट ने जो ओरिजिनल ऑथर था उसने कितनी लिखी है
उसने 6 लिखी थी 6
अच्छा
Okay.
एंड देन आई
There
गेस
is a lot of things-
कंटिन्यूड ना
yeah his son continued and then another writer
हाँ
another person so yeah
And his son came out and said that it's like a great movie. About
Yeah.
the second part at least.
वो नहीं देखा
The
मैंने
son.
वो नहीं सुना
हाँ ट्विटर पे उसका आया था कि he's like this is such a great realization of my father's work. It's humbling and all that.
अच्छा आई थिंक
Yeah.
इट्स सेफ टू से ऑल ऑफ अस लव द मूवी लेट्स जस्ट ट्राई टू ब्रेक डाउन व्हाई वी लव्ड इट यू नो
नहीं मेरे को एक
सोल्ड इट
एक
फॉर यू
प्रॉब्लम थी उस फिल्म से मुझे जो कि आई थिंक बुक्स से भी है मतलब इट्स अ वेरी फेथफुल एडेप्टेशन मुझे लगा द विलेंस वर अ लिटिल लाइक थोड़ा सा वन नोट टाइप्स थे, like very clearly villainous villains. Like I वो ये था कि मतलब कि again this is a kind of a spoiler, but all of the villains kind of do this trick of killing their own people, like how in
गला काट
Animal
देते
Bobby
हैं.
Deol.
हाँ,
हाँ, मतलब किसी ने कोई कोई हल्की सी डिस्कॉर्डेंट चीज बोल दी तो अब उसी बंदे को मार डाला.
करेक्ट.
और ऐसा ये सेम ट्रिक 3 बार रिपीट किया फिर इस पार्ट में, ड्यून 2 में. सो वो थोड़ा सा तेलुगु विलन वाइब्स आए थे मुझे
पर वो
बीच में.
डोंट यू थिंक दैट इज ऑल्सो फैन, जब भी आप इतने हाई मतलब ऐसी फैंटेसी जॉनर में हो, वो उसके ट्रैपिंग्स है. वोल्डेमॉर्ट भी उसका कुछ वो नहीं था कि वो
वोल्डेमॉर्ट भी वैसा ही है.
लोगों से ढंग से
वोल्डेमॉर्ट
बात
भी.
करता था, कम से कम ऐसा कुछ उसमें वो नहीं था. ये
I think this you need to like the context is that this movie came out, this book came out before the Harry Potters and the Star Wars
या
movies and the whole
गेम ऑफ
like Marvel
थ्रोन्स.
Cinematic
या
Universe and the Game of Thrones. This is the OG, right? This
या
came out
No,
before all this.
but I don't
They
buy that. I don't buy
they
that because
I think they
sorry.
pulled from this. Like Star
No,
Wars pulled from this.
no, I get it. But then Dennis or like villain
Denny.
whoever, Denny, he updated certain things. For example, now this is not a spoiler, I think, but it's some detail about the film, which is that there are nuclear weapons that are mentioned, and that part I felt was handled a little more modernly than I would say in the film, in the book.
So the book
So
was written in 1950s, right? Or
yeah,
हाँ.
around that time, right? I
yeah.
think उस समय like at the Cold War चल रहा था. It was a little
It was
early.
a lot about, it was completely not about, but it was, again, it has shades of the Middle East and oil and Islam and all of those things, and it's so fascinating to watch something like this. मतलब the way they showed कि resource, और ये तो अभी भी होता है, ऐसे गैबॉन या ये जितनी भी कंट्रीज हैं इनके पास कौन सा कोई तो मटेरियल होता है ना जो देयर सम नेचुरल रिसोर्स व्हिच इज यूज्ड फॉर ऑल मोबाइल फोन्स और कंप्यूटर चिप्स एंड ऑल दैट.
Rare earth metals,
या
rare
तो
metals,
दोज
Even
जहाँ.
for electric car का batteries.
करेक्ट. तो
They
lithium,
require
and
जब
lithium.
ये माइन होते हैं तो देयर इज अ लॉट ऑफ चाइल्ड स्लेव्स बेसिकली हु डू दिस स्टफ इवन टुडे. तो आज तक जैसे इंडिया में भी बिहार झारखंड, दीज हैव बीन सम ऑफ द मोस्ट रिसोर्स रिच स्टेट्स. हिमांशु चले गया था, अब वापस आ गया, मैं उसको ला रहा हूँ वापस. हाँ. सो दीज आर द मोस्ट रिसोर्स रिच स्टेट्स, एंड हाउ कहीं पे जो भी जगह पर सबसे ज़्यादा रिसोर्स होता है सबसे ज़्यादा उसी जगह की बैंड बजती है. तो द वे दे शोड दैट इन दिस, मतलब वो जो बुक की जो स्टोरी है एंड द वे इट captures that geopolitics into a fantasy world that is so heavy and dense, but it never feels like that even in the book, you know.
Yeah.
Even in the book you don't feel it is such a pacey book, there is so much happening. I think in this what I really enjoyed was the way they balanced the different story tracks, at least in the screenplay level पर मुझे वो बहुत सही लगा कि whether it's Paul's story or मुआद्दिब और चांदनी story और स्टेलगार, गर्नी हेलिक और ये जो उसकी माँ जो होती है जैसिका, एवरीबडीज ट्रैक इज गिवन प्रॉपर जस्टिस टू. ये एक मुझे प्रायोरिटाइजेशन बहुत सही लगी बिकॉज सम ऑफ द कैरेक्टर्स जो मैं अभी स्पॉइल नहीं करूँगा अगर आपने बुक पढ़ी है तो, जो बुक में है बट मूवी में नहीं है, यू नो. एक कैरेक्टर है स्पेशली और एक दो और चीज़ें हैं जो बुक में है मूवी में नहीं है जो इंपॉर्टेंट है बुक में, एंड आई एम ग्लैड दे रिमूव दैट बिकॉज दैट शोड क्लैरिटी कि हमको जो भी कैरेक्टर को हम ला रहे हैं we want to give that character a lot of time because these movies only work. जैसे अगर पॉल का जो ट्रेलर में भी है that he is giving that rousing speech है ना, वो फील होने के लिए you need a lot of build up and you feel that in this movie and that is great. मेरे को तो टिमोथी शालमे का यही डर लग रहा था कि ये वो जो मैं बुक पढ़ी थी मुझे वही लग रहा था कि भाई ये जब वो स्पीच देगा ठीक है, मतलब how will that emotion that you know he's a warlord and he's becoming those things, and how will he convey that because he's not an actor known for those kind of parts, you know, he's a soft boy. So but dude, what a
he did a good job.
Pulled
He
it
did a
off
good
like
job.
crazy. Yeah,
He did a good job. Yeah.
And I think it's the hats off to the direction, right? Because not just acting but direction also, because क्या है कि Denny gave us a full 40 minutes with him alone. Initially it starts with only him, we don't see that guy Fade Rotha and Baron and all, वो लोग थोड़ा लेट आते हैं. We get his arc for the longest time. We stay with Paul initially for a good chunk, so that I think the issue was Dune 1 mein na, we couldn't connect with him. The weakest part of Dune 1 could have been just Paul, because everything was happening to him and he had no choice or no, nothing
Agency.
to do. he
Yeah.
he somehow barely made it out alive, and that's it, right? So
Hmm.
Dune 2 may, it's like almost like he got enough space to like live. We stayed with him and we ended up liking him and also understanding his problem. Abhi tak
Yeah.
na, we were not in his shoe and we couldn't get it. So Dune 2 did a very good job with just like letting us be with him for a good while,
Hmm.
letting us be with Zenediah's character, Chani, and then the mother's character. I think the trilogy, the Trinity, these three characters,
Hmm.
their issues are the highlight of the book also. I think if you see the first movie, na David Lynch ka, nobody, you can't, it's one movie about with covering the whole book.
Hmm.
So the entire thing gets covered, right? So you don't get to
Hmm.
stay with anybody, you don't care about anyone. Paul has no motivations, none of Stilgar has nobody has any motivations. So you will realize how different this movie, spacing it out, giving every character time, how much it mattered, because suddenly we care, like.
Yeah.
I think
I
sorry Bharat, हाँ तू बोल.
Nee, I also like how it kind of deals with religion and fanaticism, which is kind of a different look at the material, the source material. It also deals with the same things, but I think there is a lot of focus given to uh, doubting the prophecy.
Hmm.
Even he himself is doubting that prophecy, and this is like a staple in most science fiction slash fantasy books
Slash
and
the chosen one book
the
movies or
chosen
books.
one narrative.
Trope.
I like how they've kind of revisited it with a modernish lens. That's what I like. They kind of make they also play it for humor, for
Hmm.
example. So yeah.
I just think जैसे earlier this book Dune used to be called unadaptable क्योंकि I think जोदोरोस्की या किसने भी बाइक बनाई थी और लिंच ने तो बनाई थी अपनी एक adaptation. I think somebody else also tried to the TV series, but it never reached the pinnacle that everyone knew that the source material had that potential. You know,
Yeah.
I think वो यहाँ पर और मेरे को लगता है उसका रीज़न ये था कि जो बुक है जो फर्स्ट बुक है उसका जो फर्स्ट हाफ है इट इज़ जस्ट सेटअप इवन द बिग थिंग्स दैट आर हैपनिंग अभी डून 1 का स्पॉइलर दे रहा हूँ मैं जैसे द मर्डर ऑफ डूक लीटो
Leto.
राइट तो ये सब का जब भी वो सब जब अटैक बाय हार्कोनेंस ऑन अट्रेडिस ये सब चीज़ें इवन दो इट इज़ बिग स्टफ इट इज़ स्टिल जस्ट अ सेटअप to what is gonna happen towards the end जो ये मूवी में होता है that is the real meat of the story right तो it I think all filmmakers would have struggled to how do you cross that bridge to get to the interesting stuff क्योंकि उसमें ही इतना सारा माल है to cover to give people context which is why I think this is a model adaptation कि अगर तुमको कोई एक बहुत dense material adapt करना है I think these two movies at least so far are great examples of how and I thought even in अगर आप हिस्ट्री देखो जैसे भरत तू कह रहा था कि दिस मूवी डील्स अ लॉट विद what do you call religion and fanaticism. I think in the 2000 years ago when all these Abrahamic religions started coming up, right? भाई if you मतलब मैंने कुछ ज़्यादा नहीं पढ़ा है बट मैं आई वाज लिसनिंग टू सम पॉडकास्ट और आई थिंक रेस्ट इज हिस्ट्री उसमें लोग बात कर रहे थे भाई हर उस टाइम पर हर दूसरे हफ्ते देयर वुड बी अ न्यू प्रॉफिट it was like influencer it was like it जैसे अभी हर दूसरे हफ्ते कोई नया बंदा आता है वैसे तभी दैट वाज अ रिलीजियस प्रॉफिट कोई नया आ गया इसने कोई मिरेकल कर दिया अब ये हमारा गुरु है ठीक है ऑल्सो इट्स अ कंपल्शन हु इज अ फ्रेंड ऑफ माइन संजना शी इज इन जर्मनी एंड शी इज गिवन अस 6 euros great work
Wow.
guys I'm really
Crazy.
loving this content hey thank you so
Thank you.
much Sanjana thank you and yeah listen I'll guide yeah that was very funny the उसके memes देखे तुम लोगों ने स्टील कार के listen I'll guide
हाँ,
meme
Yeah.
भाई मजे आ गए so
I think Javier Bardem did a very good job playing Stilgar. I think he infused
yeah,
a lot of life and a lot of humor into this movie, but at the
yeah.
same time, na
I'm just coming back
explained
huh?
it.
Huh.
I think his character explained it so well, na ki what is the issue with
Fanaticism.
fanaticism.
Yeah.
I think
It was
the complex ideas na of the book come out well, not because the adaptation is verbatim. Like it's
Hmm.
not word to word. It's really there is no. The first 40 minutes when we are with Paul. The book, it's not written like that in the book,
Hmm.
because in the book there it's the book is not written in first person perspective. It's almost written like a journal. Like there are
Ah,
chunks of every chapter that are written like a journal from the queen. What do you call
Princess
it?
Irulian or Irulian. Yeah.
Irulian. She's writing about it much later.
But that also
So
they show, right, in the movie.
they show it. They put it in the movie that this is all happening in almost a journalistic thing,
Yeah.
but at the same time they show what could have happened. मतलब they took their liberty with क्या क्या हुआ होगा इस time पे when Paul is becoming Muad'Dib and then Lisan Al Gaib. They
Yeah.
show it to you in such a way that you kind of get immersed into the world. So I think
Hmm.
fucking good, yeah. Javier
Yeah.
Bardem.
I also
I think
think
they also
that.
very
Hmm.
sorry,
नहीं नहीं
continue.
तू बोल.
Yeah, the idea of Benny Gesserit, right? Like
Hmm.
this group of people who have been passing down knowledge and who have special talents and abilities, and they have an agenda which is separate from everybody else's agenda,
Hmm.
is complex enough that अगर तुम movie में डालो तो शायद लोगों को समझ में ना आए.
हाँ.
But I think people did get it. It's
Yeah,
not.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
they explained it well in this movie.
हाँ. It was, and it
There's
is quite unlike a lot of, like, the Bene Gesserit thing is quite unlike a lot of other fantasy or science fiction stuff that I have read or consumed. It's did Himanshu just disappear,
हिमांशु
by the way?
बाउंस्ड या
उसका शायद. Okay.
हाँ तू क्या कह रहा है बट कंटिन्यू
No, but I was just adding to his point of the Bene Gesserit, which is a very
हाँ
complicated idea. It's not a simplistic kind of take on anything,
राइट
but it kind of still, again, it ties back to the idea of fanaticism, the idea of how religion kind of controls this. And I also like the idea that the Reverend Mother, who's, I mean, Paul's mother, she knows all this.
या
She knows the power of religion and the power that she wields.
the crazy part is that everyone in this universe knows what the Bene Gesserit is and what they do. सबको पता है ये
Yeah.
लोग क्या करते हैं, but they still succeed at what they do, right?
Yeah.
Which is the whole thing of how they've mastered their way to speak and how they control their voice and all of that stuff. Um, yeah,
Yeah.
I think genuinely one of the I can't wait for Dune Messiah after this. I'm going to also read the next book soon. I would recommend everyone reads the book, watch both these movies. I think you'll really like them. Especially because it gets spectacle right, it gets character right, fantasy right, all of those things.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
so
Dune Prophecy TV series आ रही है. वो it's on Bene
Oh.
Gesserit. It's like prequel, 1,000 years before,
oh
10,000 years before this movie. It's
Oh,
coming
I
out
didn't
this
know
year.
that.
Yeah, they're making it. It's in production right now.
Dune
And
Prophecy.
yeah,
I think Mr. Pink is reading the book. वो कह रहा है कि the way the book is structured is so interesting. Yeah, that's very very true. It's the way
actually
it's
Dune ना तो अगर
हाँ
तो Dune का story, the book, when you read the book, the fascinating thing about the book is not the story. At least मुझे ऐसा लगा क्योंकि अभी इतने इस टाइप के stories सुन चुके हैं. I think it's mostly how they wrote it, how it's written, because it's written partly like a journal of a princess who's suffering, and partly like almost like a religious text. The the story of Lizen El Gaib is almost like, it feels like a third person writing, like like I don't want to say any religious text ka name.
हाँ मत ले
Imagine
हाँ
anything. Imagine
हाँ
any one of those. It's written like that. Like
Yeah.
how पहले ये हुआ फिर ये हुआ फिर ये हुआ फिर ये it feels like it happened. It really did. So that is why it's interesting.
Also, very thinly veiled these things to Islam, I would say,
वो तो बुक में
because,
तो है ही बुक में तो वो
like,
डायरेक्ट है हाँ
and the most laughable for me was the Fidain slash
फिदाई
Fidaikin.
फिदाइकिन को फिदाइन कर दिया इन्होंने भाई बुक में तो
Ulta.
इट इज कॉल्ड जब ये बोलता है देयर इज अ जिहाद कमिंग इन द बुक
There's a
आई एम
jihad.
कोटिंग द बुक
Yeah.
या इनफैक्ट बुक
Yeah.
में देयर आर हिंदू रेफरेंसेस आल्सो प्राण ऐसे कुछ तो योगा का कुछ तो है ना बेने जेसेरिट फॉलोज द प्राण
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
समथिंग
Yeah.
प्राना
breathing and this
टेक्निक,
and that.
हाँ प्राणायाम बेसिकली
हाँ.
वो ऐसा सब है भाई. बेसिकली फ्रैंक हर्बर्ट फटाफट इंडिया मिडल ईस्ट सब घूम लिया, ठीक है, उसने सारे ईस्टर्न वो ले लिए, उसको कर दिया उसने अडेप्ट इनटू उसकी वेस्टर्न वाली
Yeah.
स्टोरी, और बस खत्म होगी बात. दे रिप्लेस द वर्ड ड्यून
So
बाय क्रूसेड. यस.
Rinku Paji is asking Himanshu, was the story for part 3? Are you talking about the book part 3 or
बताओ.
like इस मूवी का तो कोई part 3 नहीं होगा क्योंकि Dune 1
नहीं
and
नहीं
Dune
वो
2
वही,
is
ही इज
basically
आस्किंग अबाउट द नेक्स्ट मूवी ऑब्वियसली एंड द नेक्स्ट बुक, बेसिकली द सेकंड बुक एंड द थर्ड मूवी.
I, I'm
स्पॉइलर मत
more
दो भाई.
excited
हाँ.
about excited about what will happen in the adaptation of book 3 because book 3 is the craziest book that I have ever read. Of I've not read a lot of books, but it's मतलब trilogy में when you see na, like it goes up way many more notches and it's very crazily written and there's no way they can adapt it. The reason why people say Dune is not adaptable is not because of book 1, okay? It's because of book 3. So you guys have to go to
तो
book 3
दैट
for
इज
that.
चिल्ड्रन ऑफ ड्यून राइट.
Yeah. Yeah.
मैं जब भी मैंने ऑनलाइन जब मैंने पहली बुक खत्म की मैंने देखा व्हाट विच रैंकिंग ऑफ ऑल बुक्स, तो सब में वही था. एवरीवन वाज
Bro,
लाइक चिल्ड्रन ऑफ
Children
ड्यून,
of
चिल्ड्रन ऑफ ड्यून.
Dune,
या.
when you start reading it, ek to I don't want to say anything, but it's just written with multiple timelines in mind because they can all imagine a lot of things happening at the same time. Not they, I'm using they, मैं नहीं बोल रहा कौन.
कुछ मत बोल. हाँ.
Spice is playing around in a lot of people's mind, and a lot of people have a lot of abilities, and it's just timelines are getting mixed and mashed. And
ये
you
वाली
can't.
मूवी तो अब सीधा 2030 में ही आएगी मेरे को लग रहा है ना.
हाँ.
दो
Was
दो
that
साल तो
बीच में वो
लगेगा
कुछ
भाई. हाँ.
बीच में वो कुछ और भी बना रहा है. अब किसी ने बाय द वे कमेंट किया था कि रॉन्डेवू विद रामा बना रहा है वो.
दैट्स
हाँ.
बुक ना. दैट्स
भाई वो किताब वन ऑफ माय फेवरेट साई-फाई नॉवेल्स है. By the way, Rendezvous भी series है, which is Rendezvous with Rama, then Rendezvous with Sita,
oh.
and then one more Rendezvous, yeah, which is basically, I mean, it's by Arthur C. Clarke, and
Oh हाँ, correct. He's that guy who's written that other very famous
भाई और 2001 A Space Odyssey
2001
का
A Space
writer.
Odyssey, correct वही.
हाँ. But Rendezvous with Rama is his crowning like jewel. It's a very good book. It's basically hard sci-fi. It's very different from like this fantastical. And I frankly I have read a lot of hard sci-fi, which is and I like that over this Dune style of sci-fi. It is more like based in scientific speculation.
मिस्टर पिंक ने लिखा है रॉन्डेवू विद ओम राउत.
Adi Purush reference.
हाँ.
अच्छा तो I think one thing I liked about Dune 2 more than Dune 1 is that they did not use that audio bite again and again. The bite, what do you call it? That the lady shouting and then after that the drums.
दो बार तो इस्तेमाल किया है इसमें भी.
नहीं इसमें एक ही बार आया जब वो सैंडवॉर्म राइड करता है आई थिंक, या फिर 2 बार होगा, एक बार मुझे याद है क्योंकि फर्स्ट बुक में एटलीस्ट 10-15 बार यूज करते हैं वो लोग और बहुत ज्यादा हैम हो जाता है. आई थिंक फर्स्ट मूवी वाज सो डिफरेंट. बोथ द मूवीज आर नॉट इवन दो मेड बाय द सेम डायरेक्टर, सेम टीम, एवरीथिंग सेम. बहुत अलग है, बहुत अलग फील है.
टेम्पो ही अलग है. मुझे लगा
full
एकदम
अलग है.
हाँ. And I frankly enjoyed part 2 way more than the first one.
Yeah, for sure.
At least
In fact, even things like simple things like जैसे वो shields वाला जो angle है, ज़्यादा घुसा नहीं हो, सबकी गांड में नहीं घुसा हो ज़्यादा, ठीक है, मतलब जो है वो है. Don't go. I'm glad he chose that, you know. So
it's more about relationships in this movie. How are people feeling about each other?
correct.
Which is not there in the first adaptation. Dune 1 has no such things. So that is crazy. Suddenly you adapt a movie and everybody has feelings. They emote well. They have ideas. They have opinions. Their opinions are clashing. So that's when it gets interesting.
Yeah.
भाई शौर्य पाठक, मैं तेरा ऑलरेडी एक मैसेज डिलीट कर चुका हूँ. क्यों तुझे हमको पिटते हुए देखना है? प्लीज़ रिलीजियस रेफरेंसेस थोड़े अवॉइड कर दो, डायरेक्ट वाले, ठीक है, ताकि हम लोग सुपर चैट ले पाए और हम लोग पिटे नहीं साथ साथ में. ऑलरेडी भरत का कुर्ता फटा हुआ है, क्या चाहता है तू? तो या सो
shall we not do poor things because I think
नहीं, let's do poor thing. I think we are at 1 hour 14. I think we can do another 15 minutes, I guess. और
Yeah,
फिर
yeah.
Yeah, we can.
लेट्स
Oh,
कॉल
I मुझे लगा उस पे थोड़ा और समय spend करते, but okay.
नहीं नहीं. So
नहीं भाई
just for
आज करते हैं ना.
let's call him
हाँ
na.
या लेट्स
Let's
कॉल.
do it na.
Okay,
अविनाश,
let's do it.
आर
Let's do
यू
it.
रेडी? एक सेकेंड भाई.
वैसे just for context, like while Aditya is doing his thing, in the WhatsApp group, everybody else was loving the movie Poor Things, or at least favorable.
Yeah.
And Avinash, I remember he trashed it, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
He didn't like it. He didn't like it. So that's the reason why we are meeting Avinash today. We need to hear it.
The other reason is that he is a party member of
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 course.
this channel, and if you also would like to join us on our live streams, you can become a party member and do this. So I'm just gonna call Avinash right now.
I think he's here in chat now. I saw his
He is in
text.
chat. I'm just texting
We
him.
are doing. हाँ.
हाँ तुम लोग बात करो प्लीज, कुछ बात करो. हाँ
चलो पुअर थिंग्स का एक वो दे दे भरत, एक वन लाइन.
I think amongst all of us, I am the only one who's also read the book, by the way. I think you all have not read the book. And
No.
there's one very key point that the book makes, which is not in the film at all, which it just kind of ignores. Again, are we doing spoilers? If we are doing spoilers, then I will spoil.
Poor things
पहले
का
मत
we
स्पॉइल
will
कर.
not
और
spoil
क्या
it
ही स्पॉइल
early.
करेगा.
हाँ
नहीं
पुअर
मैं
थिंग्स में
full
स्पॉइल करने को कुछ है नहीं ब्रो. इट्स अ
जो मैं
स्टेटमेंट.
नहीं जो मेरे को मैं जो पॉइंट बता रहा हूँ वो काफी स्पॉइलरिश है तो आई लेट दैट बी
Also,
बेसिकली द
meanwhile, Abuday Malhotra, your request to join the WhatsApp group I have approved also. So welcome to the group. हाँ भरत, तू कुछ कह
ओह
रहा
नाइस
है? Yeah.
अच्छा मिस्टर पिंक ने पूछा है पुअर थिंग्स बुक और मूवी आई वुड से द बुक बिकॉज द बुक मेक्स अ लार्जर पॉइंट अबाउट whose story is it oh
क्या कह रहा है?
hi
Oh,
hi
Avinash is
नहीं
here. Yeah.
yeah
I'm just gonna
हाय
add
ब्रो.
him.
Yeah, man.
He's here.
hello
Hello. One second. Let me just balance your audio out. Yes. Thank you so much for joining us, man. This is good. It's been after
Second
a
time.
while. Second time. तो
Yeah.
पहले हमने
No, third time is it?
कब टॉप गन के लिए या किलर्स ऑफ द फ्लावर मून के लिए या मिशन
I
इम्पॉसिबल?
think Mission Impossible के लिए first time आया था.
हाँ.
Second would be Killers and Killer. अभी यहाँ
ओ
आएंगे
वाओ,
इसके लिए.
अमनप्रीत सिंह. आज तो पता नहीं सबके आज चेक आए हैं क्या सबके? आई थिंक ये मंथ स्टार्ट हुआ है तो आई
मुझे
थिंक
भी
सबके आज बहुत ही
लग
पैसे
रहा
हैं. अमनप्रीत सिंह हैज बिकम अ मेंबर ऑफ द चैनल एंड ही इज अ पार्टी मेंबर. So we
Wow.
could see Amanpreet soon on the channel as well. Thank you for joining us, man. Thank you for supporting us. I will add you to the WhatsApp group shortly. But yes, Avinash, poor things per
जी,
without
जी.
spoilers. अच्छा, before that, now that we are following a tradition, भरत बता दे poor things किस चीज के बारे में? दो लाइन में.
poor
जिसने नहीं देखी
things
हो उसके लिए.
is I think it's set in the Victorian era if I'm not wrong
Not really specific ना.
तो भी
Not
इंडस्ट्रियल
very.
एरा
हाँ.
ब्रिटेन.
हाँ.
चलो. हाँ.
industrial in era Britain, and there is a like an elderly kind of scientist who's reanimated the body of a girl who has the brain of a young boy and like almost like an infant. And this is the story of how she kind of experiences the world and how she goes on these adventures and how she sees the world and her brain kind of grows. So that's the story, and it's I think a satirical tragicomedy. I would like to say
It's
the
almost
book
like
is
Barbie. It is like adult
like
Barbie.
Barbie.
Yeah, Barbie for adults. Yeah. So जैसे बारबी
Yeah.
में वो जब वो दुनिया देखती है, she finds out all the problems in the world and all that. इसमें भी वैसा है, but इसमें it's more to do with sex and with again a lot to do with gender. So similar on that regard, but much better. So Avinash, what are your thoughts on this movie? And also tell us what are your thoughts on Yorgos Lanthimos' movies in general. Do you enjoy them?
मुझे I enjoy them Yorgos movies. I do like him like like कौन सा वाला? हाँ sorry.
कोई बात नहीं भाई, पानी पी ले, क्या हो गया?
नहीं ऐसा नहीं है. The one with Colin Farrell one, which one with
Lobster.
Lobster, correct. हाँ.
Yeah, Lobster is like a rom-com, but in his way,
Yeah.
he's subverting his own expectations. And Killing of a Sacred Deer is like a real drama, but he's subverting it with a Greek tragedy, like where Barry Keoghan आके बोलता है उसको like you have to spoiler for
Spoiler
killing
for
of a
killing
sacred
of
deer.
a sacred deer. Killing of a sacred deer.
Barry Keoghan tells him that like all your kids are going to die, but all family is going to die, but you have to kill one willingly. वैसा है. That is more like a and of the favorite is more like this Victorian era like chamber piece where these two women are fighting for power, for control of this of the queen. So ये मेरे को मुझे and it's filled with very like ribald sex comedy जैसा है वो the favorite. This I feel like वो favorite पे कैसा था like it's like McNamara का script and is is completely grounded and then Yorgos का style is there. This I feel like
Hmm.
Yorgos style went up and McNamara script went down. तो इसलिए
Hmm.
मेरे को इतना पसंद नहीं आया एंड आई थॉट दैट इट वाज वेरी लिटरल बहुत ही लिटरल लगा मुझे आई एम बीइंग वेरी ऑनेस्ट मुझे बहुत लिटरल लगा एंड बहुत सिंपलिस्टिक लगा आई डिडंट थिंक दैट ही like I feel like McNamara was beaten to pulp because of like Yorgos and Emma Stone ने दोनों ने बोला कि हम लोग को स्क्रिप्ट ऐसे ही चाहिए they wanted to go big with a performance. I think it's a move the entire movie hinges on two performances and if you don't get those two performances तो पूरा movie पसंद नहीं आएगा. That's what I
Correct.
think.
So you're saying it's more style and there's not as much of a
Yes.
deep meaning as जो Yorgos करता है. Normally his both of those are very high. You're
Yes.
right. Yeah.
Also, it's not. It's like, I get you. Literal, matlab, it's simple, right? Like
It's very simple.
he's tried to explain it to you. I think this movie is for like a little bit more mass appeal. He
Mass
Yeah.
appeal,
wants
exactly.
a lot of people to watch
Whatever
it and
mass
get it.
appeal you can have with a movie like this. If you watch it, you'll
Yeah,
understand. But yeah.
I
but the
mean,
trope,
हाँ.
the trope is something that if like Wonder Woman does it and Barbie does it and then PK does it and then this guy also does it.
Correct.
It's this is the fish out of water trope.
Ah.
That's
But I,
the
I kind of think it mimics the experiences of the character, which is the perspective of the world is very simplistic because she is essentially an infant who's trying to learn, and this kind of is reflected in everything. This is reflected in her performance. This is reflected in the production design, most apparently, and it's also reflected in the music. The music is also very loony, very like whimsy. So I kind of felt that that was appropriate for the character, and we are experiencing this world from her eyes. So I liked that simplicity. I like the fact that it questions very deep I mean, it doesn't go very deep philosophical about life. It approaches it from a perspective of how a kid will. So I kind of like that. I
Did you
thought
guys
that was
find
a
it funny though? Did the
I
humor
did.
work? Because I feel like it's a mostly a humor based, like the jokes need to land for the movie to work, right?
The jokes don't land for me actually बताऊँ तो because I
Hmm.
because the major thing is like for me is like the thing is Emma Stone on screen does not read as person who is weird or like does not she does not read weird on screen मुझे वो लगा and I did not buy her as like this person who has the brain of a child and is now learning the way of the world. I could not matlab, like Emma Stone that I know is like more like rom com queen, and then like even in the favorite also you see her. She starts out like a woman who is like a little bit meek,
Ditzy.
and then she
Yeah.
did see then she gains confidence and then she starts manipulating the queen. So वैसा वाला मुझे I couldn't buy it. That's my big problem with the movie, and I think that's my big problem with the entire thing also.
So do you think
So,
casting is the issue?
Yes, for me, I think it's
you
big
did
issue.
not like this one's performance also, no? Mark Ruffalo's.
हाँ रफलो का मुझे थोड़ा ओवर लगा मुझे बट आई अंडरस्टैंड द पॉइंट ऑफ द कैरेक्टर दैट ही इज सपोज्ड टू बी अ हॉर्नी इडियट करके
Correct.
एंड लाइक ही इज लाइंग अबाउट हाफ ऑफ द थिंग्स दैट ही क्लेम्स ही इज वो पता है उतना कि लाइक बट या आई फेल्ट इट वाज टू ओवर द टॉप लाइक देयर इज नो
So,
ये नहीं है
I know what you're saying about simplistic, and I do think it is simplistic, but I think it is simplistic by choice very consciously
and
because
yeah
Yeah.
because I think abhi, if you have to comment on these things, whether it is gender and the way it treats uh, industrial Europe, right? Commentary on that, what that world was like, एंड व्हाट इट वाज बिल्ट अपॉन, जो वो सीन है कि वो रोने
Yes.
लग जाती है. तो uh, ये जो पूरी चीज़ है, एंड द नाइविटी ऑफ अ पर्सन कमिंग टू ग्रिप्स विद दिस वर्ल्ड वेर देर आर सच एक्सट्रीम differences, in pleasure, in power, in all of those things, and
Yes.
her father being a god, basically, who's Willem Dafoe's great performance, I thought,
Great.
uh, and even his makeup, the way उसका जो कटा हुआ जो चेहरा था, it was just fucking amazing. So I
Amazing
think,
था.
हाँ, तो आई थिंक वो सब जो चीज़ें इट इट ब्रिंग्स टुगेदर टू टेल अ स्टोरी विच इज़, आज के टाइम पे विच इज़ सो जेडेड. व्हाट आई लव्ड अबाउट इट इज़ दैट देयर इन प्रेजेंट डे टुडे, राइट, जो जैसे लोग वोकनेस की बात करते हैं, एंटी वोकनेस की बात करते हैं, तो I think around with the internet in the past 10 odd years, there has been different resurgences of different. This thing is on top right now. There is a period when anti-woke is the main thing on the internet. There was a point when it was the people who were more social justice oriented that was on top. I think to show a
Yes.
character like that, just this character. Spoiler alert for Poor Things. I'm just giving you prior spoiler alert. Uh, Towards the end of the film, what she becomes, that, chal, no spoiler alert, I guess, तो तुम लोगों को तो पता है. तो what she becomes towards the end, a lot more politically sort of inclined, and she learns more about the world, and the raw facts of the world that she lives in, that is not that intellectual, it is not. I think it's trying to make that point that these things are not that complicated
Yeah.
जितनी बना दी गई हैं, and that's why this simple approach कि if you leave a, basically what the film is trying to say is that if you leave a woman like that in this world with complete freedom to experience the world and imbibe the world to with a fresh slate without any baggages of society, then that person will automatically become what she becomes in the end, you know.
Yeah.
I
Okay.
think this is what to me I thought, and that was a very good way to show that.
Can I?
And
I
that's
can. I want to add something.
Huh,
Sorry, Bharat.
huh,
So not only is it important for
huh.
this person who is a woman to learn this and to become this person, but she's also needs to like uh you know do what she has learned. Like her actions needs to make sense now. So then spoilers there.
Spoiler
She's
alert.
again
Huh.
so she after she has made her choices and gone back to her home, she meets her ex husband, right? And she is again put to the same test. The last time when she was put in this position, she chose to give up, right? So now in a more, I think, in a more learned way, in a more understood way, she had to make another choice, and she stood up for herself, which is what I think that is the highlight of the movie. The fact that if they could have actually left it, the film could have ended that she went back home and married the guy. वहां पे कहानी खत्म हो सकती थी,
Right.
right? The fact that they added this ending, which is a long ending, it continues for a long time, is a, I mean, that is the real part of the movie, right? The part where
yeah.
it shines. I think the ending is the reason why it worked the most for me. Otherwise, I was I would be in Avinash's camp.
Oh, the ending is actually वो Christopher Abbott के साथ वो वाला scene, the and that storyline is actually I thought it was very good actually. मेरे हिसाब
Yeah,
से
na?
because his performance is he exactly locked into what Yorgos wanted him to do. Exactly, like you have to play like a dastardly evil English lord who loves war too much, and the because I मुझे लगता है कि like they want what they wanted to say is that she was also very evil and she never looked around. She completely looked down on people who served her, and then when she saw that she was giving birth, I mean, full on spoiler, right? But
Huh.
she was giving birth when she was giving birth to like her their their
Right.
child.
Correct.
She came to a moment of crisis and then jumped in the river because they don't because she doesn't want to bring another one in this world because of him. So usme I think uh, Defoe's character does not know what the behind the story is. He
Correct.
just
Yeah.
puts her brain into into Emma Stone's brain.
Yeah.
So she is now learning that how her mother was and how she now has to react to her.
Right.
तो
Correct.
वैसा मुझे लग रहा था, which I was like, okay, that's interesting, but it's for me it's all the performances. If performance काम नहीं किया तो I think the movie falls
Fair
apart
enough.
for me.
हाँ, it is
Yeah,
very
that's
heavy
true.
on. I think Yorgos का एक चीज तो है that he is the most successful experimental filmmaker today. You know, he's
हाँ,
managed to really capture mass तो क्या ही but relatively mass audience. जो ये फिल्में तो normally नहीं देखते थे. I think that's another thing I really love about his whole trajectory and generally just a great filmmaker. Um, काफ़ी लोगों ने
Yeah.
बाय द वे भरत आई थिंक देयर इज अ क्वेश्चन फॉर यू टेक्निकली नॉट डायरेक्टेड टू यू बट आई थिंक मिस्टर पिंक ने पूछा था पुअर थिंग्स बुक और मूवी तो भरत हैज आल्सो रेड द बुक सो भरत बताओ
Yeah.
भाई
I said na. I said the book. The book
हाँ
is better, and if we are going into spoiler territory, I'll tell you exactly why. So,
लेट्स गो फुल
major
स्पॉइलर हाँ
full spoiler for Poor Things. The book is basically the entire film, which is it. In the end of the book, there is a segment of like 40 pages, which is written from the perspective of Emma Stone's character. And she says this all of this is fiction created by my husband, who Rami Malek plays.
ओह
And she says that Rami Malek was a fucking idiot. He was a mediocre man. I married him because he was a submissive guy. And he created this sci fi story about me. I was basically, I had jumped to my death, but I did not die. This guy revived me, this doctor. So there was no sci-fi कि मेरा brain ये वो. She's like he came from a poor family. So in the story, he wanted me to be as coming from as less means as him, which is why he made me
वाओ
this. Yeah, and she says this guy was a fucking idiot. I only married him because he's the only one in this entire world who would have let me do what I wanted to do, and he was a weak man. And
देयर
this
इज
is
हाँ
so
that's
I
mean.
think yeah, it is mean, but it kind of puts each of those characters like currently in the movie, Emma Stone is clearly a positive character, more positive than others, and it's kind of a wholesome ending, right? The ending
Yes.
of I mean, Willem Dafoe's character passing away and Rami
Hmm.
Malek being there with her, and it's a wholesome image, right? But in that book, they question everything. They say this might also not be true. It is up to you to choose what you want to believe, you know.
हाँ.
So I kind of liked that
I
about
think
the
it's
book.
also reminiscent of Frankenstein and Mary Shelley because Mary Shelley
Yes.
wrote
Yes.
that, right? So it's also
Yes.
almost a, I feel like somewhere a direct inspiration because
वो तो है,
completely
definitely
similar
है.
backgrounds and all of that. Uh,
Correct.
Emma gonna stone you, Mr. Pink. Nice one, man. Harkirat says poor things के spoilers नहीं देने चाहिए. Most people wouldn't have watched it yet. I'm guessing. Hence no comments. कोई बात नहीं भाई. भाई और कितने हम आज पैसे कमाए भाई. बस हो गया. बस नहीं हुआ.
I
कोई
think
किसी को
also
देना दे दो
मैं
कुछ ऐसा नहीं है. But हाँ.
I also think even if you hear the spoilers of Poor Things, even if you
हाँ.
know the whole story, you can still watch it because it is
Yeah.
about the performances,
हाँ.
right?
Performance
So
is
it
what
is,
happens inside. It's about just that experience. हाँ, completely.
yeah, and the visuals are also crazy good. Yeah, they've shot the frames are really good.
The
So
shift
किसी
from
ने
black and white to color, all of that also.
हर
yeah,
कीरत ने पूछा है आरी एस्टर से भी ज्यादा एक्सपेरिमेंटल.
भाई
गुड
बहुत
क्वेश्चन.
बहुत ज़्यादा. आई
क्या
थिंक
बात कर.
आरी एस्टर के जो एक्सपेरिमेंटेशन होता है इट इज़ स्टिल वेरी मच बेस्ड इन द रियल वर्ल्ड वेदर मिड समर उसी की थी ना मिड समर
हाँ,
या
Midsummer, Hereditary,
हेरिडिटरी
मिड
या
Views
समर को
Afraid.
प्लीज वो मत
नहीं
करना, स्पॉइल नहीं
नहीं नहीं
करना.
नहीं करूँगा बट नई वाली जो कौन सी
But
थी
सब नहीं है.
नई वाली कौन सी
Beau
थी
is Afraid.
Boys
Beau
Afraid.
is
So
Afraid.
again, very direct. It's very much based in the real world. I think Yorgos is also while it's based in the real world. उसकी movie में there is almost a haze of absurdity from the very get go. अगर especially I would recommend everyone to watch Dogtooth if you want to go into the depths of Yorgos Lanthimos, which is also I think he's very similar to you know sorry he follows a very similar theme of control where he even in Dogtooth for example there is these it's about this guy who's keeping his family inside the house and doesn't let them go out even in this शुरू में ही है वो this is not a spoiler so वो चीज़ भी इसमें भी फॉलो करता है. तो आई थिंक इज वेरी, इवन इन द फेवरेट फॉर दैट मैटर, यू नो द क्वीन शी इज सिक एंड देन, so he follows a lot of these things, like how your mind goes crazy indoors. It's like when you, it's like somebody took Shining, the movie, as a base, and you make a whole career by like just going deeper into that theme, which I find interesting. I like filmmakers that follow one or two themes and kind of experiment with that again and again freshly. So yeah,
Yeah.
also Amanpreet has mailed me. I will add you to the WhatsApp group, man. I will actually do that immediately right now. Yeah, I have added you to the group. Welcome to the group. uh, and yes,
अब
all new
सुनना,
members, please
अब
please.
सुनना अविनाश और
अविनाश,
रौनक.
अभी तो देख, अविनाश का जो दबदबा है ना ग्रुप में, अविनाश और रोनित का काफी और भी काफी लोग हैं, बट आई वांट ऑल द न्यू मेंबर्स आल्सो टू लाइक जॉइन इन.
Yeah.
People who don't often talk, please join in on discussion. Tell us a trailer you like, you know, whatever it is.
Yeah.
Just send stuff.
Seriously.
So yeah, I think anything else for today's episode?
I have
I
3
think-
questions with you guys. Like
Yeah, for sure.
Oh, great.
हाँ.
पिछले movies के बारे में.
बताओ.
मेरा तो एनाटॉमी ऑफ फॉल का तो मेरे को इम्पोर्टेंट क्वेश्चन ये था कि डिड शी रियली डू इट और इज शी रियली इनोसेंट.
अच्छा, तो नाउ स्पॉइलर अलर्ट फॉर ऑल मूवीज. ओके, अभी अपना एक बार ही दे देते हैं.
अब ये spoiler territory है
Proceed
भाई,
at
चलो.
your own risk for all these movies.
all these movies.
Personally, I don't think she did it. I think
Even I
in the
don't think
movie,
she did it.
Yeah.
yeah. Why? What do you think? Do you think she
लगता
did
नहीं
it?
है.
I think she did it
Oh,
because for me ठीक है. Spoiler alert for
हाँ.
Anatomy of a Fall. I think the ending is like the kid looks very terrified by the ending. Ending में I think he looks very terrified and she tries to make a connection with him but नहीं हो पा रहा है. I think he knows that she did it करके.
मेरे लिए तो वो अलग था. मेरे लिए वो मोमेंट था. आई नो द मोमेंट यू टॉकिंग, आई लव दैट सीन, बट इट वाज,
It's very good
आई
scene.
थॉट इट वाज मोर अबाउट कि यू नो ही हैज बीन एक्सपोज्ड टू ऑल द, अ चाइल्ड लाइक दैट हैज बीन एक्सपोज्ड टू ऑल the dirty adult parts of a marriage and you know just the murky
Exactly,
stuff. So it's like that relationship will never be the same whether she did it, whether she did not do it. Uske dimag mein that relationship is just completely.
I also
know-
think it was about guilt. Sorry, I
Yeah.
thought it was mutual guilt for the son because of him in a way. She had to go through this ringer, and also guilt from her perspective because as an adult, you know you're responsible for a child, and because of something that you or your partner did, your son is having to go through this. You know? So I thought it was about mutual guilt. That moment, what you're talking about, Himanshu.
I think throughout the movie, I was judging her as a bad parent, as a bad spouse. मतलब, I was judging her as a person, but not, मतलब, not. I didn't think that she did it. Like that's the idea, right? Like even after the courtroom ended, like the case, and she won. I judged her on the fact that she went out for drinking and celebrating
हाँ,
instead
that is
of
there.
going to her son. I felt like every action of her मैंने जज किया उसको, and हो सकता है मैं गलत हूँ, मेरा expectation ज़्यादा हो सकता है from people. So I was really pulling at strings or whatever.
अगेन मैंने
But,
रिलेट किया तो मैंने जज नहीं किया उसको. मेरे बच्चे नहीं है तो थैंकफुली दिस कांट गो अगेंस्ट इट. बट हाँ, सॉरी, यू आर सेइंग हिमांशु.
हाँ, but ऐसा नहीं लगा कि I think the dog experiment was, मेरे को तो थोड़ा
हाँ, the dog
it
experiment was a little bit.
convincing था कि ये this was completely his. अच्छा, you thought it was not convincing?
I thought it was a little far fetched. कि like अच्छा ठीक है, हाँ, dog को poison करके वो लोग ने किया करके ये सब कुछ. अरे shit, I have to say spoilers again.
नहीं नहीं, बट
No, you don't have to. You don't have
दे
to.
दिया
say.
भाई
Spoiler
अभी
हो
हम
गया.
लोग पर. हाँ, बट
No, but
यू
हाँ,
नो
dog को.
मेरे को तो कन्विंसिंग इसलिए लगा, मोर देन द फैक्ट्स ऑफ द केस और एनीथिंग. आई जस्ट हर sort of the way she's acted, you know, the way her character is written in the towards the end, and the way she's behaving, even that going for drinks. In fact, I was on the reverse of it. I was like कि matlab, I can't judge that person. I know this person is not killed because a murderer would do this, you know, and she's not. I don't think she would do this.
And
but
I agree
I
with
just
you.
her sort of emotional breakdown towards the end. It was also towards, I think उसका ऐसा दिखाया that she just was with somebody who was not that good as her, जो उसमें वो लोग जो जब वो मैरिज स्टोरी टाइप वाला जो सीन होता है, तो वो सब चीज़ों में she felt like it's a confusing end to this marriage because there's no resolution to what they were doing. So I think she
Yes.
was also, it's like ये सब court case हुआ but she never got to grieve that way. So I thought this was that sort of ending in a sense.
Avinash, I have a question for you.
Hmm.
Do you think, like the way I judged her, maybe you also were in that same bucket? You agreed, right, that you also judged her a little bit on how she was behaving? Do you think
नहीं, मुझे ना
if
देख,
it
I'll
was,
tell you this.
uh,
I'll tell you this. Till I feel like till end I was like I believed her completely. ठीक है, हाँ, I understand like okay, even if she went out with a hot lawyer to get drinks and everything. By the way, that guy became viral on internet. हाँ, वही है. हाँ, and both the lawyers, okay, yeah. No, but I think for me it's the son thing. It's still stuck in my mind कि वो इतना डरा हुआ है कि like he's like I have to live with her now करके ऐसा. That is still going in my head, and I feel like and I think like the starting वाला interview जो part है where she tells the student to go, she मतलब पूरा interview करने देती है, she ignores him, then she tells the student to go, and she goes up. I think there was kind of an altercation, something like that happened, इसलिए मुझे ऐसा लग रहा था that angle. I still thinking like that.
अच्छा,
okay, your doubt is still कि उसने किया कि नहीं किया. मेरा question actually ये था कि अगर roles reverse होते, suppose it was the mother who fell and the father who was alive, would we be judging him equally, like for his actions of celebrating uh, after the
नहीं,
victory, or
फिर फिर तो then I think the story would then it would have tilted the axis
ये तो
वैसा हो
it
जाता.
full
matters if
hypothetical.
it's different, right? हो सकता
Yeah.
है, right? Imagine if the
Maybe,
roles were reversed.
but 1 second, I would like to point, it is also 1 hour 40 minutes. This discussion can continue on the WhatsApp group because Avinash had two
Yes.
more questions. तो ये अच्छा bait है for the WhatsApp group also. तो please, Avinash, what are your other two questions, please?
अच्छा, मेरा अदर क्वेश्चन था डून डून का ये था कि लाइक डिड मुझे तो आई थॉट बटलर वाज मच बेटर देन शालमे. शालमे भी अच्छा है, आई थॉट बटलर वाज फार
अरे
बेटर
thanks
देन.
यार.
नहीं,
ठीक
अच्छा है
है.
शाले में थोड़ा
हाँ.
ठीक कर दिया
नहीं, बट
उसने.
आई थॉट बटलर किल्ड इट मोर इन द मूवी देन शालमे. सो डिड यू गाइस थिंक अबाउट इट लाइक दैट? ऐसा मुझे लग रहा था.
मैंने ऐसे
I think the
performance wise,
writing is the issue with the character of Fedra. मुझे लगा कि
हाँ.
he acted well, but उसको करने को नहीं मिला इतना.
उसको
At
करने को
least
कुछ नहीं था यार,
भाई
उसको
बुक
स्नीयर
में भी
करना था.
बुक में भी
उसको
इतना ही है उसका. बुक में भी
हाँ,
इससे ज्यादा है
book
नहीं.
में भी उतना ही है.
हाँ.
हाँ हाँ.
नहीं है.
It's literally this
तो
only. तो वो
हाँ,
उसके लिए कुछ ज्यादा.
he
I
did
think
his best.
even in the book that is one criticism because he's the main villain. उसको there is not enough that we see of him. If it was like मुअद्दिब एक साइड पर, ठीक है, और एक साइड पर फेद रॉठा, and then we
The
see
movie also
the
sets
whole
up it like
thing.
that also.
Yeah. हाँ.
मार्गो फेंड्री जाके बोलती है कि लाइक टू द priestess, the reverend mother की like we can control him, pain and humiliation is this thing करके. तो वैसा. So
Can I give you spoilers for Dune 3
नहीं
and tell you
नहीं
why this
No.
matters?
नहीं 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 हिमांशु,
No,
बिल्कुल भी
नहीं, मत दे,
नहीं. ये
मत
मैं
दे.
बंद कर दूंगा. नहीं.
ठीक है, okay.
तो okay, so that is your third question, Avinash.
थर्ड क्वेश्चन, जोन ऑफ इंटरेस्ट में अजी मैं कंप्लीट करने वाला था बट आई couldn't finish it, but I thought that you were saying that कि like मुझे कंप्लीट करना एक्चुअली saying that I feel like मुझे I felt little bit like present जो हो रहा है गाजा में, the way present जो हो रहा है इसराइल में, जैसा कि like there are Israeli influencers also showing that हाँ हमारा लाइफ तो सब कुछ यहाँ पे ठीक है.
Correct. हाँ.
And when you know what we see there,
Hmm.
so I was having this like कि is this movie for our time right now, or is like Glazer like accidentally हो गया करके कि Glazer के this movie became of our time करके.
I think it's universal. I think that is the idea
Yeah.
behind the movie. I just think it is definitely something that he's saying कि you know, the genius of the movie is that they don't show much of the Nazi horrific,
Yes,
any of it actually. They don't
you
directly
hear
show
everything.
anything. You hear everything, but they don't show it. So
Mm.
I
And I,
think,
huh,
in that sense, they're just sort of showing that. Bharat, sorry to continue. That.
and I think it's also the end kind of solidifies what Aditya is saying, which is that it's universal, which is the fact that uh, it's
मैंने अब तक
it's
एंड
all.
देखा नहीं है अभी तक. हाँ.
Oh, sorry. Okay,
वॉच द एंड. आई थिंक ये मूवी
watch
बहुत लोगों
the
के लिए
end
बहुत
and
स्लो भी होगी. आई एम श्योर. आई डोंट थिंक
हाँ.
एवरीवन विल हैव द पेशेंस टू सिट थ्रू
But
दिस मूवी.
I don't mind the pace at all
हाँ
क्योंकि
हाँ,
मुझे समझ
I,
में
I
आता है.
सेम.
I think the running theme of this year's movies are self justification. The biggest flaw in human nature is like how we justify our
The
actions to ourselves,
yeah.
right? This feels like a theme for this
Yeah,
year's
man.
film.
Killers of
और
the Flower
complex.
Moon, Oppenheimer, Barbie to some extent, Poor Things,
Barbie
this,
to an
yeah,
extent as well. Yeah.
Anatomy of Fall, everything actually. Yeah, it's all. It's been a very guilt here, guilt here. So
कोविड के बाद
Even
सब लोग
Killers,
का.
हाँ,
Yeah, हाँ.
Killers,
The Killer या Killers of the Flower Moon क्यों वो तो
Killers of the Flower
हाँ
Moon.
हाँ वही. तो सेल्फ गैस लाइटिंग मिस्टर पिंक ने कहा. भाई उसको एसिडिटी बोलते हैं. सेल्फ गैस, दैट इज गैस, दैट इज जस्ट गैस, प्योर गैस.
Eno Pilo, bhai.
Eno Pilo. Eno is a godsend, dude. I swear to God. My recommendation for today, Eno. तो
चलो guys, I'm leaving. I need to sleep early.
अच्छा,
Sorry.
Okay.
please give us a recommendation before you go.
Recommendation. I would say तुम लोग you can. मैंने अभी recently ये देखा था. I rewatched one old other movie also, Hot Rock करके,
Okay.
which is like 70s का movie है. Robert Redford का है, where him and his friends have to steal a bunch of diamonds for another one, and they do multiple heists in one movie. बहुत अच्छा है. It's very fun movie. Hot Rock.
Hot
The
Rock.
Hot Rock.
Hot Rock.
The Hot Rock. 1972 का movie है. हाँ, The Hot Rock. I
Nice,
think it's very
nice.
fun. मैं पहले भी ग्रुप में डाला था, but अभी वापस देख सकते हो.
Nice.
I rewatched
I'll check it out.
Nice.
Thank you so
Yeah.
much. Thank you so much, man.
Thanks. Thank you.
Yeah. All right.
I'll
I'll
leave.
just.
Chalo. Bye, Avinash.
Bye.
Bye, bro.
YouTube चैनल नॉब पॉडकास्ट इज
Thanks, bro.
रिकमेंडिंग. शौर्य भाई तू क्या कर रहा है यार, ये सब चूतियागिरी मत कर इधर आके. तो नॉब पॉडकास्ट रिकमेंडेशन यूट्यूब चैनल गेटिंग डाउन विद शॉन एंड मार्ले. तो विल चेक दैट आउट. व्हाट इज दैट अबाउट? हरकीरत सिंह हैज सेड जॉन स्टुअर्ट ऑन डेली शो रिकमेंडेशन. सो जॉन स्टुअर्ट तो मैंने देखा नहीं. मैंने उसका थोड़ा सा क्लिप देखा. आई थिंक ही मेड दिस थिंग ऑन बाइडन के ऊपर. ओ वी हैव टू गिव नॉब अ रिकमेंडेशन ऑन फॉर फिल्म्स. तो मैं 2 फिल्में रिकमेंड करना चाहूँगा. बोथ आर स्कॉर्सेजी, अर्ली स्कॉर्सेजीज, and one of them is king of comedy because I don't know if you've seen, but you're a comedian, so I think you might enjoy that. And the second one is another Scorsese around the same time, which is After Hours. Extremely funny and extremely cool movie, and great stuff to watch.
I'd like to recommend The Iron Claw because he does. I mean, Shashwat does commentary, right, for the what is
UFC,
it? The fighting.
UFC.
Yeah, the UFC. So kind of a related space. The Iron Claw is about the what is the family? Yaar, I fucking
The
bad at
wrestling
names.
family.
Yeah, there's a very
McMahon,
famous.
Vince McMahon.
No.
Okay.
उसकी family, उसकी कोई family नहीं.
उसकी
Anyway.
वो किसी को नहीं मानता है. हाँ.
बट एक बहुत ही फेमस ट्रैजिक WWE फैमिली है उनके ऊपर
Oh,
है.
I know who you're talking about.
वॉन एरॉन और समथिंग.
कुछ तो कोई तो बता
It's
दे.
like-
The Von Erichs. The Von Erichs.
The
अभी
Von
होता है.
Erichs.
हाँ.
And उनकी फिल्म आई, Zac Efron has acted and it's been an Oscar snub. A lot of people are calling it an Oscar snub. It's a good film. Watch it. It's nice.
Nice.
मैं एक बहुत ही ट्रैशी मूवी रेकमेंड करना चाहता हूँ, एंड इट्स स्पेसिफिकली फॉर नॉब पॉडकास्ट बिकॉज आई फील लाइक शाश्वत के एली में है दिस फिल्म.
Okay.
It's like it's funny but you can't tell, and it's, I don't know, you'll have to just see it to get it. I
नाम
don't
बता.
know.
हाँ.
It's called Chompy and the Girls.
Okay.
I told you guys about it a long time ago, and एक बार it's not a good movie
तो भाई
but
क्यों कर रहा है recommend?
because it has very weird ideas, it has very weird visuals, and it's funny weird. कभी देखने, अगर कुछ नहीं करने का मन हो तो देख लो.
कहाँ पे देख सकते हैं हम ये?
Piracy. Okay.
The High Seas.
The Shaurya has said there is a Korean time travel horror movie uh, called Call, which released in the pandemic. Don't know if people have seen it. That sounds interesting. We'll check that out. Reco the Birdcage, Robin Williams, Amanpreet has said. So those are my recommendations for Shashwat, but in general मैं एक आजकल मैं बहुत ज़्यादा हमने भरत और मैंने एक प्ले देखा था in Bombay called जो डूबा सो पार, which is I think currently traveling in Bangalore or somewhere, and you can follow their Insta page also. It's very interesting. It's a very fun thing. In fact, I would recommend watching it live, but you can also watch it online on YouTube. उन जश्न रेख्तार में उन्होंने पूरा performance किया हुआ है, so you can watch it online as well. It's very interesting. It's on Khusro's life, and
watch it because I try to get Ajitesh, who's the co-writer director of the
an actor
whole thing.
of the
An actor.
Of the play, and very interesting guy. Also, he was one of the actors in Bharat, the show that Bharat had written last year, Ghar Vapsi. So he was one of the actors in that. So very interesting play. I think you should check it out. और मैं तब से नुसरत फतेह अली खान की गज़ल ही सुन रहा हूँ भाई. जे कौन सी वो भी मैं recommend करूँगा. जे हारे मिस्कीन ऐसे कुछ तो है. I'm butchering the pronunciation, but that is what it is. So check that out. Very cool song. Anything else for today? Anything else?
No, that's it.
I think it did good, dude. Covered a lot of movies today. तो अच्छा है.
Yeah.
2 घंटा हो गया almost.
2
2
घंटा
घंटा मारे हैं
हाँ
हमने.
भाई.
8 मिनट और करोगे तो 2 घंटा हो जाएगा.
फिलोसोफर ने द मोस्ट फिलोसफी वाली मूवी बोली है पार्टी 1984 बाय गोविंद निहलानी, ऑफ कोर्स सर. That is to legend.
Also, our first brush with nudity in Indian cinema.
Yeah.
All three of us.
Yeah,
I'm sure.
तो
बहुत ही माइनर, बहुत ही कम. मतलब मैं ऑनेस्टली मैंने मूवी देखा, मैंने रिकॉग्नाइज ही नहीं किया कि वो कुछ हो रहा है. जितना तुमने बाद में बताया मेरे को, 3-4 बार तुमने मेंशन कर दिया इसको इस पॉडकास्ट में. इट्स लाइक यू कांट टेल ब्रो, इट्स नथिंग. हाउ क्लियर इट.
And no, the thing is, I think this was surprising for me also because this actress who did that is like an old lady. We've seen her play a lot of old lady characters. She was, for reference, for context, she was Munna Bhai MBBS with the
didn't she
mother.
do an interview with Sandesh as well?
Yes.
What's her
Rohini
name?
Hattangadi.
Yeah. Correct.
She was the mother in Munna Bhai MBBS. Yeah.
Shaurya said that's an old song, Zehare Miski, and has Mithun Chakravarti in it. भाई वो वाला वर्जन नहीं सुना है मैंने. ठीक है, जो डिस्को डांसर मर जाता वो वाला नहीं है ये प्रॉपर वो है. पाक सूफी यूट्यूब चैनल पर है ये, तो बहुत सही है वो देख लो.
By the way, किसी ने शोगन भी recommend किया, which I've been hearing a lot of good things. Yeah, it's on Netflix, I think.
Nice. Good stuff. Thank you guys for joining us. Thank you for all the support you all showed us today. That was great.
Thank you so much.
Got a
Seriously.
couple new members. Hope to see you guys active in the group. And also, thanks to everyone who gave a super chat and subscribe or even stayed for this long. And yeah, thank you. We'll be back soon. I think I'm traveling from tomorrow onwards. अभी थोड़ा सा break नहीं होगा. We will keep this consistency going. But we'll be back. I think next episode कब करेंगे एक बार बता देते हैं.
14 को करते हैं. 14 को करते हैं. ऑस्कर
14. ऑस्कर कब है? 11 को है.
10 को I think.
10 को है. So yeah, we'll be back
सुबह
on the
5 बजे.
14th. 14th को
मैं तो देखूंगा भाई, by the way, इस बार, क्योंकि सब देख लिया मैंने.
मैं नहीं देख सकता.
मैंने भी
यार.
देख लिया ऑलमोस्ट सब कुछ. करेक्ट.
मैं उठ के
वॉच
नोटिफिकेशन देख
अलोंग
लूंगा.
मे बी वी कैन डू एन इंस्टाग्राम लाइव वॉच अलोंग. ठीक है, वो
5
कर
5
सकते
बजे
हैं.
उठेगा क्या?
हाँ कर ले. क्या तू क्या कर रहा है वैसे भी? तो वैसे भी क्या हो रहा है वैसे लाइफ में, तो वेयर इज द लाइफ. सो
चल ठीक है.
या
चलो.
ओके, आई एम जस्ट गोना एंड स्ट्रीम. बाय बाय.